Oh, I dish them out. I'm from a family that's like that too.
Yep.
What up?
I'm excited.
What up?
We're live, fuckers.
What's up, y'all?
Oh, now we've been reduced.
Who has a crew with a whole bunch of dudes and a couple really cool chicks? Come here to learn, come here to teach. Mostly we come to bullshit. Caribou heart, we all play our part in this cannabis game. Caribou heart, come pop a squat, recreate, or just kill your pain. Rolling up weed into a bunch of dudes and a couple dang dab hits. Laughing along, getting real stoned. Don't forget, dear Uncle Rick. Caribou heart, we all play our part in this cannabis game. Caribou heart, come pop a squat, recreate, or just kill your pain.
All right. Welcome everybody. It's Tuesday night. Toke here on Caribou Heart TV. We got two very special guests in the house. We're looking at Chad Westport and Smiley's guard. How the hell are you guys doing?
Good, bro.
Awesome, man.
Welcome, guys. Cheers, bro.
Yeah, profit's not worthy. We already knew that though. Before we get into the good stuff, guys, we have a quick point of order we got to do here. This show is we got to dedicate it to Uncle Rick. He has a family emergency going on right now that he's got to deal with. So we got to send that dude some love because it's a big one and he needs to know how much we all love him. So we're just going to go straight to dab time right off the bat on this one because, well, that's how we do it around here.
Oh. Hey, man, I sent him my mom. How much more love can I possibly send him?
So I have a question for Chad and for Smiley. And that question is, we're here, it's almost October. You've had a whole summer outside to play and have a great time, right? Here you are now. What do you think? What would you have done different in your outdoor experience? What are the lessons you've learned thus far? Anything new? Like anything that you've, I mean, there's a lot you could go with here. Take it away.
Shit, yeah, Sam, why do you got to hit him with the deep stuff right off the bat like that?
Well, you didn't ask what animal.
We
barely even couldn't even start off with the, hey man, how you doing? How's things going?
Shut up, Prophet.
Yeah, nice to see you guys.
Glad you're here. Fucking A, man.
I've been thinking about it the whole pre-show. Like,
well, you should write it down legibly.
I don't have to. I just ask him.
All right, we'll take that and we'll pin it up for later. We'll just pin it up for later. We'll let them get all the pleasantries out of the way.
So, how's it going?
Good, man.
Right on. So, how was your summer grow? What?
Just tell him, man.
How are you guys?
Past it. Just tell
him. How is everybody?
I don't know. I'm just trying to finish my dab.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
I know you're all trying to get into business. It was fucking dab time, dude. Fucking goddamn.
Yeah.
Flow.
Fucking bees.
We know who doesn't have dabs.
He's trying to keep it on point in honor of Rick, man.
That's true. That's true. Keep it rolling for him.
I didn't see any hand play. All right, so.
Here we go. This one's for Rick. Or how do you do that? Right?
If you're doing it for Rick, you got to fuck it up at least twice and then get it right. So.
Well, I'm doing good then. There we go. This for you, Uncle Rick. Oh, that man.
DP and
he's
Prophet,
funny.
You guys should do the screen share heart. DP and Prophet.
I don't know who's actually next to who. I don't know who fucking YouTube actually sees. So
Me and DP are actually next to each other. I'm in the middle, and he is to the left.
That'd be pretty cute.
Yep.
Yeah.
Locket. It'd be like a locket.
Wait, hold on.
Come on, you can do
Am I,
it.
am I going the right way?
It's got to say
No.
best friends. One says best.
Is that right?
friend.
On our screen, though, Prophet, we've got it, bro. We got
Yeah,
it. Right
yeah,
there,
we do.
Right there.
Wait, hold on.
We got
Wait,
it.
there it is.
Just the two
Money.
of us. You and
That's
I
it.
always got horrible ideas. I don't know.
Fist
why.
up. Wait, I gotta come from over here. Fist up.
Let me get into this live chat.
I'm trying to take a dab at my torch is just blowing away over here.
Somebody say live chat. You say something about live chat. You know what? If you're in there,
But it seems
If
like
you're in
good as time
chat-
as any, Fluff.
yeah, I think if you're in chat, you should probably get in live chat, because if you're in top chat, you're not really having your best chatting experience. So what you need to do is over there, you got a little thing that says top chat, got a little arrow on it. Click down, pop up some options, click live chat, maybe even pop out chat while you're there. Have a good time. While you're out there, give us thumbs up. Thanks.
I get paranoid sometimes and think y'all are talking about me when it's like, and everybody's, the chat's being stupid this evening or something. I'm like, did they say chat or chat? I don't know. Some of that East Coast, man. Some of that East Coast blends in. I'm like, what?
What'd I do?
Right.
A lot of guys, I think.
So
Feel like I thought I
I
was
got
being
it
good
for
tonight.
wait up on my dab time here. I just pressed some fresh stuff and I'm collecting that off the parchment as we speak. But yeah, I fired up the Nug Smasher and did up a 9-gram sack of strawberry cream and another same one of size sack of purple dank breath. So
Nice.
some dabs are in order. I haven't had this thing running in like, it's got to be damn near a year by now. I'd say like probably late last year, early this year since I've had the dab press running, because I have to pay for weed again, which fucking sucks. But you know,
So what's considered a good return nowadays on these smashers, man? Like 20%? Is that like realistic? Depending what you're mixing.
yeah, but not much more, I would say. Like on average, there's been a few strains where I've gotten like a really good recovery on it, but on average, I don't get the returns that other people seem to claim to be getting off of similar sized pouches and stuff like that. But another one is I press straight flour. I don't do like dry sift or anything like that. So maybe that has something to do with it too. I don't know.
Different. There's a lot of variations in it, down to the plant and at the harvest time and temps and
Down to the
Well,
the structure of the nug. I mean, the structure of the nug makes as much difference as how much fucking trichomes is on it.
Yeah,
You know, as your
absolutely.
return, so
And another one of my biggest problems is like not even just I haven't ran this thing in almost a year. It's been like when I did have it, it would be like you do a harvest, right? And so you have a lot of fun for a good couple hours for that crop while you're fucking smashing the shit into rosin. But then you wait another month or so until your next harvest is done. So it and then a lot of it's fucking by feel because it's not electronic or pneumatic or anything like that. It's all fucking hand press. So you can feel the weight pressure on there and just, I don't know, it is what it is. It's a fun toy to have. I can't bitch too much about it. It gives me dabs. You know, that's yay dabs.
What's
we sold first generation big 20-ton, hardware store press, and then we had a company that was called New Vape. They've changed their name recently, but they still make a lot of titanium and stainless steel machine products in the vape industry. But they would make these plates that you could attach your coils to them from your e-nail, your upper and your lower, and that was the first generation ones we ever had at the store. But they were huge, and then they evolved so fast that I've gone like 3 years without carrying any kind of that inventory. And I think I'm almost ready to carry something like that at the shop now, man, because there's some small electric ones, man, that can produce.
nice. Yeah, I've always wanted to try. I got a big old thing of keef I want to fucking squish really bad, but one of these days.
You need to find somebody with a traveling freaking press. Half
Right.
press will travel.
That's right. I have press rule travel. Get a hold of Fluff.
That sounds like it would be a
That's not
fun
even worth it.
time.
There's
Just running around, traveling to your friends' places, smashing their weed
Yeah.
for them, doing dabs. Like, What's not fun about that?
People
I don't know.
definitely do that.
What are you doing
I was
next
gonna
week?
say, how much money you willing to pay me? I'll buy the press and I'll see you on Tuesday.
I'll pay you in friendship.
We'll get you a used ice cream truck.
He looks like Johnny.
I'm liking the sound of this more and more. Y'all keep on going. I mean,
Yeah, it's
so
great.
a whole
You guys
cold
ever
road,
watch
we're about to
that?
have a station on wheels. Hell yeah.
This is
Cheers,
gonna be.
that man. My hands are full, dude, so I can't freaking cheers everybody back that's saying hi, but cheers, Ron. Thanks for joining us and shit.
Hey, Fluffy, I noticed the difference between top chat and live chat, and the only difference is you're not there.
You're late.
I am there. I'm just.
Yeah, you're not in top chat, man.
What? Yeah, I am not in top chat. I am in.
No, I'm fucking with you.
Are correct.
I'm fucking with you, man.
Well, hey, now that we got all the goofiness out of the way, let's get back to Beeze's question, man. I like it.
Yeah, he had a question.
Yeah. All right. So, Smiley, what animal would you be?
That's not fair, man. You had me thinking about the other
What the fuck?
I like to keep everyone on their toes. Okay, yeah. No, to the garden, truly. That's what I want to hear about. So let's start. Okay. So you've had this entire summer, right? You have grown outside this summer, correct? Of course. Yeah. I don't want to assume, but So I'm sure there's been some lessons and some hardships. It sounds like everybody that's grown outside has had some, right? So
Right.
what have been yours? How have you fought them? Did you have any success? What are you going to do next time?
Well, why don't I'll just explain what I did, because this was the first year I did outdoor at this place. So
Even
I
better.
put in new beds that were, I don't know, they were like 4 by 8 foot, like metal rectangles basically. And then I just set those on top of my grass, and then I didn't do anything underneath it. And then I bought like really I don't know, it was $35 a yard. The municipal fucking soil basically, which was I don't know, in the description it said 80% forest compost and 20% topsoil, whatever topsoil was. It was black as shit, like super black as shit. But I just got a bunch of that, delivered like 5 yards of that, and then I just wheelbarrowed it into there. And then because it was so much forest compost, I figured the micronutrients were going to be pretty well covered, and that calcium would probably be one that I'm going to be short on, and probably some of I figured it would be somewhat acidic based on its decomposition or where it was at in that decomposition. And I figured it would be really light in nitrogen. So then I just top dressed with chicken manure stuff that I got, and then I did a shitload of bone meal, and then not a shitload, but that was probably the heaviest one of the ingredients. And then I did some garden lime or whatever, just calcium carbonate.
Did it get hot? You got to cover it up before you used it or anything?
I did not. No, I just top dressed it and planted into it. So I did tomatoes and cucumbers and I don't know, like garden vegetables and peppers and shit in the other 2 beds. And then the first bed I put strawberries in. But being that it was the first year with the strawberries, they really weren't going to produce much because I was planting them in June, and that's like when they're going to fruit, right? Like, so this year they weren't doing shit. And anyway, my girlfriend's birthday is June 28th. Mine's July 6th. So like, I don't know, we were going through some weed, and it wasn't exactly intentional, but I do know where the pollen came from because I flipped. Like I do an outdoor in little pots, like last year I did, and I just do a little breeding thing. So like I set a couple males in the flower room, I get them flipped, and then I move them outside, and then I pollinate outside. And then I think what had happened is somewhere in there that transition, that pollen had hit one of the phenos I was already growing out. So we had a couple seeds, like bag seed, you know what I'm saying? But I was pretty good guess of what it was. So we planted those in the strawberry bin on June 28th. And the thought was, I didn't want to get a huge plant. I just wanted something that might be 3-4 foot tall. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know how to be a short plant, but these things shot right up and they're fucking like 7 or 8 foot tall. So I guess, you know, in hindsight, I probably could have done more to control the height of them, but I was just going to let them go and see how they grew and whatever. I haven't
planting that late, you wouldn't have think they would have fucking shot up that fucking tall like that. That's
dude,
crazy.
There was like 10-inch fucking internodal spacing on this bitch. It's insane how much this thing fucking just, but the branching on it is so strong. I did nothing to support it. Like I said, it kind of caught me off guard, right? Like I didn't plan on it getting that fucking tall. Like, and it's supporting itself. Even the big long, I mean, there's 2 foot branches hanging off the main stem and big.
Is that the last picture that I saw you post of that one? Is that the one that you're talking about?
Yeah. It's in my stories on Instagram right now, the fishing pole. There's 2 of them that are like that.
Yeah.
Sisters or whatever. So
yeah, that thing is fucking crazy, dude. I mean, that thing looks more like a piece of fucking bamboo growing up. Yeah. It's wild, dude.
I know it's gonna be a perfect fishing pole. I still think so. Man.
Do you think there's a way to actually keep it together? Because every time I've dried out any of my cannabis stems, they get real fucking fragile. Like they like to splinter like bamboo does. You know what I mean? So as long as you can, like, I don't know, can you laminate that or some shit? Well, hell, fucking Rod should be able to tell us, right?
Yeah, I don't know how flexible it'll be, you know, like you say, but I would imagine there's something to do and treat
shellac it
or something, and because they do make like walking sticks out of them things. They do. Solid, dude. You wouldn't want to get hit by the fucking thing, you know?
Yeah, be like a shillelagh.
So strong fiber, you just gotta
I wonder if there's a specific curing process for the stem to make it as strong as possible, rather than, you know, like something you'd probably have to do right after harvest, rather than just kind of flip it and hang it like, you know, we typically would. I wonder if there's a different style of curing process to make it kind of hold its structure and be a little stronger like that.
Just stay coated in resin or something.
I think so.
Yeah, coat it in like a resin. Be a little bit harder than like a tung oil or a teak oil or something like that.
Sure.
So scrape my bong and rub it on that shit.
That was my Dope was always making the mic stands out of them, and I think that's what they were doing too. They were like lacquering it and
some polyurethane or some shit.
Yeah, it's just got to have, because the fiber's there. You just got to have the whatever, you know, stick shit to hold it together and don't crack.
Yeah, tabletop epoxy will probably do that shit.
Just get yourself a can of that Bond shit. All right. It'll stick to it.
Flex seal.
Yeah, that's it. There you go. That shit'll work. And it won't leak.
Over the bottom of a boat that has a screen door.
Yo, I'll tell you what. I'm not gonna knock that shit because on Christmas Day I have a crack on my foundation and that shit leaked for fucking 15 hours. The whole family. We spent a family Christmas, but all we did was soak up water coming through my foundation at the bottom, soap it up towels, hand them off to the women. They're throwing them through the dryer, and we had this huge cycle going on, man, for 12 to 15 hours, right? Finally stopped. I went and I couldn't get a thing of Flex Seal that day. It was Christmas. So the next day I got some of that fucking Flex Seal, fucking skim coated that fucking crack, and I haven't had an issue since. So I'm not going to knock the Flex Seal right now. All right.
Flex Seal's good shit.
Yeah, from what I can tell, it's doing all right. I mean, I got to dig out the other side of my foundation.
One of our sponsors and shit here on this show.
Well, that and duct tape, right? Because we got a bunch of Canadians.
Hey, we don't want fucking cannabis sponsors. We don't want anything good. We want Flex Seal.
Flex Seal.
Mountain Dew.
I don't know about the Mountain Dew.
Flex Seal, duct tape, and crazy.
Yes, we do.
Eyes and shit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about fucking. How about you, Chad?
Yes, Chad. What did you do this summer?
I didn't do any growing outside this summer. So no.
What about as a person?
As a person, I grow daily. I'm not
Well,
going to
that's-
explain that for you.
Oh man,
But
that's
yeah.
another show.
3 inches taller than the last time you seen him.
Wow, that was deep.
But
No, this summer was good, man. It's one of those things where you're always in the winter, you're like, I can't wait till it's summer because I'm going to be outside. I'm going to go do all these things. And when it's summer, you're like, I've got to do this and get this done. And then it's somehow you got to find that happy combination of making the time to get out. And I did. So that's good, but can always be done more.
everybody's season stops now and we start down here. So it's like hearing you guys, oh, June and this, and that. I'm like, what the fuck are these guys talking about? We're like germinating seeds now to put them in the ground.
Yeah, no, I did my regular vegetables. I did, and I don't know the names of them, but I did a few more tomato varieties and pepper varieties this year. And we're taking them off as we need them right now. So they're coming in. That's good.
I was honestly kind of upset about all my like tomato variations this year. Like all of like the fun ones I thought were going to be great. Like I had some that were supposed to get huge and just it's like super meaty, you know, they had like cool structures on the inside and stuff, but none of them got any bigger than like, you know, a small fucking hand, you know, like a racquetball size, you know, they were supposed to be fucking huge, you know, like a beefsteak size. And I mean, my garden didn't do worth fuck this year. But I think it was we have a black walnut tree that is right next to my garden, and this year we didn't till at all. You know, we prepped everything, and so what I think happened is we did not tear up any of those roots at all. You know, for the year, and I think they just evasively came in, and you know, they're toxic to plants. You know, when the plants get in contact, and I definitely had just like a random plant here and there that just at some point just randomly fucking die. It looked great, and all of a sudden you'd wake up the next day and it was wilting and there was no saving it. So I think it was just my black walnut tree fucked me, you know.
What is it? There's a chemical that the roots let off that's supposed to like inhibit the germination of other seeds in the area.
You know what's funny? You know what it's called?
No.
It's called Juggalo. It's a whole lot like Juggalo.
Yeah.
It makes sense that nothing really wants to be around it.
Well, no, everything wants to hang out around it. It doesn't want to really spread out. It stays in a group. We tear up a lot of real estate.
It puts off a chemical called Juggalo that fucking it's toxic to a lot of plants, and it makes fucking growing around it really a pain in the ass. So I think next year that tree's coming down, and I think my garden will thank me for that.
Well, that tree takes a lot of water too, though, doesn't it? So it's sapping a lot of the resources from around there.
Yeah, but I'm in that area is like the highest moisture area of my yard. So it was all kind of very well thought out where the garden is, except for the fact that there's a fucking black walnut tree right on the corner of it.
I almost want a cut of this tree because it has this Juggalo in it and make like a little tabletop, you know, fucking lacquer it up.
Just get you a fucking black walnut tabletop, man. They're fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, bro. I don't have black walnut down here.
I'm picturing the ad on Craigslist right now.
But
it's like you chop, you haul, pay me $500, take it away.
But I want one that
I've got a lot of
one of yours,
trees.
Especially one with Juggalo in it.
But yeah,
we are proud.
That was one of the big things that happened in my garden this year that we figured out was
Yankees 3-2 over Toronto right now.
Oh, Toronto's getting beat right now by the Yankees.
Tell them to shut up.
Go ahead, talk your shit. Hold on, they got a minute here. Talk your shit.
I'm kind of watching the game on the TV out of the corner of my eye with a closed mouth and just like, fuck.
Nice.
Hence the big dabs, right?
No, my dabs is the reason I left the dab frog on the screen for a good long while after dab time was over. That's the blame for the dabs. Yeah, well, plus I had to say hello to all the awesome people that are hanging out with us in chat right now. Right, get to saying hello. It's a good time in there. Forget what's going on. And I don't multitask good when I consume this amount of cannabis. It's kind of just one thing or the other. You know how it is.
You should see the shit ass grin that's on my father's face.
Nice.
I don't want to talk about it. I'm pouting right
All
now.
right.
He's pouting.
You're gonna see a grown man cry by the end of the night if things don't turn around for them. It'll be embarrassing. It'll be like fucking slobbering and drooling and shit like that.
What's awesome is this is all being recorded.
Yeah, for posterity. Be like, this is the day that Caribou finally lost it.
It is funny. You are quick to fucking talk shit when they were fucking winning, but boy, you were sure being real fucking quiet when they were losing.
I'm here listening to it though. I'll take it. I can listen to it.
Nobody's like, yay, I'm losing.
We'll take 2 out of the 3 games. We went into this series and I didn't think we would sweep it because to sweep the Yankees is it's a lot easier said than done. So this is, I guess, for winning the next 2 games. I hope. I really hope.
Right on.
In Seattle, we finally got a professional hockey team. And our first preseason game was Monday or Sunday. We won that. The second one's going on right now, but I'm excited as a person who played all sports, but even hockey growing up. I've never had a pro hockey team like in my town. So it's cool to finally have one that I could go to and support. And I might even be that guy and buy a jersey.
Fuck yeah, man. No, yeah, I was kind of excited to see they got one too. You know, it's cool that the fucking West Coast is really, getting a lot more into the fucking hockey, And they need to. They're in the right area for it, Fucking get your shit together and fucking get on the ice.
Everybody wanted the Sonics back. I'm like, I don't give a shit, man. Bring me a hockey team. And so we got a hockey team. So I'm happy now.
I hope it works out for you guys.
Similar talks about the Grizzlies, not bringing a different franchise back to Vancouver a while ago. And I'm like, I'm the basketball isn't my thing, right? There's like baseball, because there's also been talks about Vancouver might get a baseball team one day. To me, that would be the shit. Like Blue Jays, Mariners, on your guys' homestands, that's like another Blue Jays homestand, basically, with all the blue shirts there, man. That's so I wonder if the area would be able to sustain it. Because Vancouver's a hockey area, right? That's why shit like basketball doesn't succeed there.
So anyway.
All right, let's get back to talking about weed again.
Did you have any problems?
Just to really kick it into gear.
So your plants grew wicked tall, Smiley. But did you have any issues?
No, honestly, man, I haven't done shit to them, and
Well, that's awesome.
I think they're just kicking off. So
Sweet.
There's been an occasional bug here or there, like bites, but they really stay. Nothing really continually on them. I just, it's like something kind of lands on it, nibbles one lower leaf, and passes. So I don't know.
For the bed you made, you talked about, putting it together. So it's it's not really, like a permaculture bed, but kind of, built sort of structurally similar, so you can make that bed without having to dig and, put all the extra on the bottom and stuff. I'm just surprised you didn't have more problems in the fact that you did the amending and then putting the lime and stuff in. To readjust your pH, because you knew you were probably going to be hot, like you said, from the process. I'm just so surprised that what you did to stabilize it and then do the heavy part of the amending, that you didn't fucking fry anything. And planted right in during that process. That's pretty fucking awesome, actually. Because anytime I try, dude, I'll cook the fuck out of a plant that way.
Well, what you're talking about is the thing going into a thermophilic type composting, and that's all to do with carbon to nitrogen ratio. And I didn't test this stuff or anything, it was just kind of a thought, but it being all forest material, it's basically when the arborists cut down trees and they grind it all up, and then that's what they dump, and that's what that's what I'm picturing that mainly is. So I don't know, there's already a lot of carbon in it, I guess is what I'm getting at. So having to add some nitrogen was what I would have to do to allow it to even be available for the plant, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I just, in the process of, the breakdown, I don't know if maybe I get a little heavy-handed with my microbes and trying to make sure that I'm getting everything to start breaking that, to get my processes in order. I may get a little heavy-handed in that process and, cause my shit to burn in that way. So that's where I definitely commend you on that, because, I want to get shit up and moving and get it. And the smart thing is to take your time and
yeah, no, and I did do like early on. I applied like, when I started it, there was a compost. I got the whatever BioComplete compost, so that, and I didn't do like an aerated compost. I just I use a lady's knee-high nylon slipper. Basically, you can get, I don't know, a box of 10 for $5 or whatever it is. And it's actually 20 of them, right? Because it's 10 pairs or whatever. So yeah, I mean, so you can just fucking throw them away, and it works pretty good. It keeps a lot of the bigger chunks out of the mix. But I just put 2 cups of that in a fucking 5-gallon bucket of water and mix the shit out of it, wring it out a few times, and fucking set it aside and apply it. Like, I don't know. And
How deep was the soil in the beds that you put down?
9 inches.
Okay, so you probably would still get a little bit of like weeds or grasses popping up, but you also kind of let the worms travel up too if you're not blocking them with some sort of material. So that's a bonus. I was just leading to kind of like, are you adding any worms to that outside? I know you're pretty big on worm bins, but do you add any directly into those beds?
I didn't know, and they're in there though. So
cool.
You ever fuck around with like worm towers or anything, or just play around trying to attract worms to your beds? Because that was one I thought would be really fun to play with. Because I'm gonna make some, like 3-foot high permaculture beds. Whenever I can get around to it, get the money and everything. But I also just wanted to actually add like worm towers to it in the corners, just to attract the worms and actually actively feed them, to maybe hopefully kind of steer my nutrients a little bit that way.
I tried doing myself a similar idea with worm towers. I took 6-inch hydroponic net pots and put them in those 8x4 flood tables. Put like one at this end, one in the middle, one at this end, and then I'd throw veggie and fruit scraps in there trying to track them. But I personally didn't seem to have a lot of success with that. I did manage, however, to attract a whole bunch of sugar ants that were fucking streaming up from the crack in the ground, though. It was just like, fuck. But doing that, though, I did notice stuff like I wasn't able to seem to get the worms attracted there. But it seemed like the springtail population and other little critters like that, it seemed to jump up a lot faster than without trying to have like some active compost or whatever you would call it in a little bed.
Yeah, to have your little detrivores and whatnot, right? To get your springtails, get your, your pill bugs, all that stuff rolling in there. I mean, that's almost as good as getting the worms in there. But it's nice to have the worms because they'll get a little deeper, get a little, a little more action out of them. In my opinion, anyway. I don't know that for scientific fact. But
yeah, I think trying to. Well, this year I got a broad fork, so I'm gonna go through and there was another little patch I did that there weren't any beds or nothing. It was basically, I just fucking sectioned off a section of the yard that it really didn't grow grass that good anyway. It was kind of half under a tree and shit. And I threw the remaining part of the soil, that 5 yards or whatever, back there. And it kind of gave me like, I don't know, 2-3 inches across that area. And I planted potatoes back there and they fucking kicked ass, dude. I was digging it. It was awesome. So
did you like keep mounding, or did you just kind of no, you just let it kind of do its thing?
Yeah.
So does it have you wanting to play with potatoes next year and like, start like doing a mound and like really trying to see what you can produce out of that then?
Yeah, well, that's the idea of the broad fork. So I'm going to loosen up the soil this year and give them some space to grow. Because that was one thing I noticed is a lot of them were, because I didn't do shit to it, right? And it was pretty hard compact ground. And some of them were pushing up out of the ground. Some of them kind of worked their way down into it. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of the potatoes were like towards the end were kind of like it made it easy to harvest, but they were like half out of the ground or whatever. So I know it was pretty hard compacted there. So I just got that broad fork and I'll go through it and loosen it up, you know, hopefully a good 8-9 inches down maybe.
What kind of soil is it mainly? Is it a lot of clay or is it like a sandy loam?
Yeah, it's you know, I don't even know. I haven't had it tested or nothing. I guess I would consider it more of a clay because when it rains, it'll puddle pretty good. So
Right, hydrophobic. Yeah, clay will get a pan layer sometimes. I just remember it's cool. It'll be super easy. You should do this. This might be a fun one with the grandson. Actually, just go. I forget what the ratio of water to soil is, but just get a beaker and fill like about this much soil, and then fill it with this much water, and then just shake it up, shake it really good, and then just let it settle for an hour or two. And because you shook it, all of the particles will separate, and then you'll get to see like how much like sand, how much like clay, how much you get to see your layers. That might be a fun one to bring them out in the garden. Be like, all right, guy, come on, let's get this going.
Yeah, it's super cool. And right, like the bigger layers, so like the bigger beaker layer that you have, more you can use, the more layer, you know, that you can really see what you got going on. So
yeah,
that's
there's
a super awesome
soil,
way to
the soil pyramid. And you just Google soil pyramid, you'll look it up and you'll see, you know, how the consistency, and you can figure out exactly what it is. But I don't know. That's I did that in my yard here. Yeah, I had to do that in my yard here because I've always lived in a clay area, but it's totally not clay out here. So I'm like, what do I got?
So what do you got?
Yeah, so what do you got?
Pretty much sand, sandy loam. Yes.
Yeah, well, you got good water retention at least.
Well, it actually because of the sand, it actually drains really fast.
Yeah,
And the water table
awful water retention.
Yeah, and where I'm at, the water table is pretty high. So in a heavy enough rain, it almost meets and mixes. And I planted a tree out in the front yard this year, and I'm having a hard time keeping the nutrients in it. Because again, everything just kind of washes through. It doesn't really hold stuff.
That's probably I want to try my yard now. You got me interested, man.
Yeah, but you just got to build some organic matter into that, and then
yeah. I wish I would have thought of that before I put it in a hole. I'm like, oh, I'll just dig a hole. Wife wanted it planted.
I'm just saying that's like your long-term plan, though, right? Always just keep building organic matter in there, and that's always a good plus for it.
Yeah, man, just till up your yard every fucking year. Just throw all your food scraps in, pile it up throughout the whole year, and then just till it in once. Your neighbors will fucking love you, but you'll have a fucking great yard in a couple years, man.
No, that's a really good point, though. I do have some things like in the compost bin where I can start building that up. I didn't think about that one. Thank you, Smiley.
Some organic mistakes
I'm
that you don't want to know about.
I'm just sitting there looking at it, getting more and more yellow, just like, fuck. Oh, well, it's a goner. No.
Now wait till I'm living in a place where I can start composting and stuff like that again. It's like, I look at all like our fruit and veggie scraps that go in the garbage because we just simply don't have a place to put it around here. In this area, there isn't a dedicated recycling program for anything like that. And I'm just like, fuck, this is all just going to waste. I'm not allowed to have a worm bin in the house because I'm the only guy, and there's 3 other women that live here, and they let me set up 2 tents in the house. Okay, right, that's. It's like I shouldn't really push anymore. It's kind of one of those things, right? Where because it is the ickiness of having worms, they don't quite get it. Well, like as soon as we move into a bigger place, it's just like where you actually have an out of the way closet or room where nobody really needs to go in there. Fucking right, so I'll be right back into that again.
So what did you have outside, Smiley? What was the breeding project this year?
So I've my
If
main
you care to share.
yeah, my main one is just working on Skywalker OG. So I have a I don't know, shit. I guess I've had it 7 years now or so. But I got gifted a cut of Skywalker OG from a friend who was shutting his garden down basically and was like, yo, this is special. It's my favorite. And then it is fucking awesome. But it's she's always been kind of a bitch to grow and finicky and weird and hard to clone and whatever. So I don't know, after messing with her around with it for so many years, I just am like, I want to get some kind of a seed form if I can. That way I'm not going to necessarily lose that flavor profile and that high, I guess. So yeah, I've been just kind of fucking around mainly with that. That was the main idea. But then when I was using the pollen, I just had other females that I put under it too. So I don't know, it just kind of became like more of like, well, I'm doing it anyway. I might as well
Right on.
pollinate this one and this one and this one too.
Yeah, right
I mean,
on.
I got the male, right? Like, so yeah, now I got a bunch of seeds that I got to sort through and fucking test out and check out. But the main project is I want that Skywalker. So I used, originally I used High Mac male and then as an outcross. But yeah, I don't know. I think that one's kind of adding a floral note in there that I don't like. And then the other run I did was I had a friend, CJ Appo, gave me some seeds of the Sky Cuddler Kush F3 from Freeborn Selections. So finding a male from that was pretty cool. And that actually has the Skywalker in the lineage. So I used the male as an outcross with that Sky Cuddler also. So I'll have those for next year. But yeah, this year I set one of the High Mac ones across the males outside and then hit the original Skywalker mom with that. So that was the main project this year outside. That'll be like the first back cross of it, right? Like, I'm just doing a handful of seeds, and they're like fucking, those are like a foot tall and shit. Like they're rooted clones basically. So
Okay. Sweet.
but it's
Have
a
you
fun
ta-
project.
Have you, they're still everything's still growing outside, right? You haven't taken anything down?
No shit,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
They're gonna be fucking end of October and then
Yeah. Cool. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, that just blows my mind that Michigan, which I always think of like a colder and snowier place than Washington, can totally get away with doing good outdoor grows. And I mean, east side of the mountains here, yeah, absolutely. West side of the mountains where I'm at, you can, but you might also put yourself through a lot of heartbreak at the end of the season too. And I'm not emotionally ready for that.
yeah, we've been having a great fall, so I don't know if I would say it's pretty abnormal so far, I guess.
See, I think right now the fall
I'm pretty mellow.
kind of fucked because we just went through like we had our great temperature drop, that brought the PM. The PM covered fucking everything. I don't care what you had, like the PM was out there, right? And then once you got it under control, the temperatures just rocketed back up to the fucking 90s again. And now they're gonna fucking shoot right back down again and get the cold night. So we're about to get like, while our growing season, we could take it, past fucking October where I'm at in like Southern Illinois, we could take it past October sometimes. Like we get really good fucking weather for it, but the fucking highs and lows are what like really you can't control it. So until the humidity drops, and we get rid of some of the humidity because that's the real problem, right now.
So that's my problem right
Hard.
now is like this thing's like, I don't know. If I was indoor, I would say maybe day 21-ish to 28-ish or whatever. I don't know if you can see I'll zoom in a little. You can see the buds, but they're just setting, dude. That was from a few days ago. So these things are gonna be Thanksgiving. I don't know. No, I mean, but whatever. If they're on week 4, that's 4 more weeks, and they're till 8 weeks. You know, I mean, that's the end of October anyway. So,
What's the bigger threat out there? Is it the cold or is it like rain coming?
I would say the frost, but I don't know. This
Okay.
thing hasn't seemed to skip a beat through any of it. It's out there praying like that all the time.
Yeah, it looks good. It's like rain. Sometimes you can mitigate with a little hoop house or something, but weather, cold, you have to do a lot to mitigate that.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah, because if they freeze, they're dead. Then you know what I mean. So.
Yeah. Start.
Yeah, they
bursting
don't
cell
give you
walls.
much. Yeah, they don't give you much leeway when they start freezing. It's pretty much a fucking done deal once it's frozen.
Yikes.
You ain't getting that girl back.
That's one of the other ones that's out there. So.
God, it's always so sexy seeing like natural sunlight on the leaves. It's a beautiful thing.
Well, it's like that. It's like that ultra powerful light. Like it goes through that leaf. It makes that fucking leaf just shine. You know what I mean? It gives
Yeah.
it its own fucking glow. It's magical to see that, man.
Like that.
Well, the way they also stand up compared to like no matter how hard we try indoors, man, there's something in sunlight that we have not replicated. I've said this many a times. Call it whatever you want, but there's something in sunlight that is meant for plants that we can't replicate.
I think it's a moon.
It's sunlight.
Well,
I don't know, man.
I think it's in the fringes. Like I think it was just Kiss Organics, Tad Hussey. He does his podcast. I don't know if you guys follow it. If you don't, you should. Whatever. It's the science of like growing cannabis. But he just had a chick on that's like a doctor in growing environments, basically. She's the greenhouse doctor or something like that was her name, but she was just talking about that. Like it's the spectrum at the fringes that makes the plants express, you know?
Yeah.
She used the example of a red Russian lettuce or something like that, where under indoor growing conditions, they can actually make this shit grow green because it actually needs the UV light. The minute it gets UV light, it turns that red color or whatever. And she was talking about how they've kind of figured out that these different spectrums actually trigger responses in the plants. And like, so like when we're talking indoor versus outdoor, I mean, what's the big difference in lighting there? You know, yes, intensity, but also, I mean, if you look at the fullness of the spectrum across that board, we don't touch that at all. I mean, at all, really, as far as like going from like, you know what I mean? From the full.
Well, the sun was made to create life, and I think that's what's lacking in the artificial lights. You know, like realistically, no matter how you want to battle it, the sun was made, especially plants, was
That's
made.
basically exactly what he's saying. It's everything on the fringes.
Yeah, it's everything. So
Yeah, like we always look at, like she's talking too, like we look at certain spectrums as par or whatever, but there's all this other shit on the outside that's happening during the sunlight too, you know, triggering different things and responses in the plant. And that's, I mean, it's,
you know, when you would listen to like the Grow Tube podcast way back when Grow Mouse and stuff was on there, when they really started talking about what spectrum did to plants, you know, when they're getting into the fucking spectrum, you know, that red spectrum, and then shifting it at a certain point, turning it on, you know, 45 minutes before, you know, to ease the plant into sleep, and then waking it up with fucking, you know, brighter blues, and, you know, adjusting the spectrum that way is fucking awesome, you know. And that's, you know, when that was stuff they were touching on a few years ago, you know, was getting all these spectrums in there, you know. Everyone's, you know, that is the part we're missing. It is all that stuff.
Yeah, I always relate things back to audio, and I don't know, it might make sense for other people, but it's like harmonic frequencies and resonances. Like you can take two notes, and when they overlap each other, there's this whole other resonant frequency way, you know, up here or down there, that you're not specifically targeting, but it comes out when you blend these things. And I really think, like we're all suspecting, that happens with light, and it's those little intangible ones that we can't really measure, the you know, the resonant frequencies, but bring it back to light, that we're missing out on. And that's awesome that you mentioned it, Smiley. I'm definitely gonna have to watch it now. Gorski had sent me a link not too long ago on it. Dr. Nadia Sabeh,
Yeah, yep.
Sabeh, is episode 86. And so, yeah, that's on my not my reading list, but my listening list. That's a great podcast. And yeah, I'll be really interested now.
Well,
If you're,
I actually like how you tie that into like music or a symphony, because I've also heard the description. I think this was in the one guy was on talking with Late, and Wolf, I think was his name.
yeah,
He
Wolf
was
Siegel.
Yep. So like he was studying light and light response too, and he was kind of the guy that was talking about like get your green light up and green light on, because it does more than what we realize. And but in his description, like we always talk in ppfd and like photons per density time, whatever, right? Whatever calculation you want, it's always in a photon. But what we don't always consider is that light moves in a wave as well. And that wave, like he was kind of describing that like a musical note is a wave too, a waveform. So like our ears pick up a symphony, and it could be 300 different instruments playing, right? But when they're all in this beautiful, in tune, in sync chord, it's a very pleasant sound. But if you had every different group of instruments all playing some fucked up note, that could just as easily, that whole crowd could just as easily sound chaotic as fuck and give you a headache, right? Like, so I mean, how much are we doing to our plants when we put the indoor lighting on them? We don't know what symphony, so to speak, right? What symphony that of light that's playing for the plant.
We're just
Are we
playing.
giving the fucker a headache?
We're
Is
just
it
playing
like, oh my
straight
God,
bagpipes.
you know what I mean? Yeah, is it just this loud, annoying fucking ew noise the whole time for him? Or, you know what I mean? Or like, I picture like the sunrise is like, I don't know, like you've seen those dramatizations where it's all just the symphony playing and the sun coming
Yeah,
Bro,
up.
man.
it's
Like
like
a concourse of angels.
TH.
Yeah, it's this
No,
beautiful
like-
thing, right? The plants are like, hell yeah, it's a beautiful day, you know?
A
Or we
little
just kick on
bluebird.
like a fucking alarm clock in the morning, all fucking day for them, right? Like, I don't know.
It'd be like
I
that
was
Rick and
thinking
Morty
like
episode with the screaming sun. The
I was
sun
thinking like the
screams.
Dolby fucking THX thing, you know, like when you watch the movies and right before the movie starts, they check the fucking system. That's sunrise right there for a plant, right?
Get
Yeah,
that sound in the movie theater, left and right.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome. I miss that sound. The little robot. No. It makes me wonder though, like how far down the line or the road that we've come with like domestication of these plants. I'm totally digging on what you're saying, Smiley. And it'd be cool. And I know it's possible to go to a mountain in Afghanistan, get the angle of the sun, get the different, you know, spectrums, and then you could calculate that into a light. But is my Afghani that I have today, does it have that like retention and memory of like, this is my desired spectrum? Or have we come so far away from it that we're on a different,
We manipulated it.
yeah.
that's the argument for terroir right there, right? Like, does like Durban poison taste the same because it wasn't grown in whatever Durban, South Africa, or is it,
Right?
you know what I mean, because of that light spectrum and that whatever,
I mean-
sunrise, sunset, all of that, you know what I mean?
There's got to be a difference, at least a little.
Temp, humidity.
We all know there's a difference, right? Like
Yeah.
I can grow my plant, you know, my Hawaiian that I have, you know, I will grow it and I will hand it off to somebody else, anybody else on this panel, and I guarantee it will not taste the same as what I grow. You know, my soil mixture is not, you know, what I feed is not the same as what you feed. My wheat, you know, I know this because I've, you know, my plant goes between a few friends of mine, and mine does not taste anything like any of my other friends. So, and you know, it's it's got to be the way I grow it. You know, I mean, they're good growers. They
Everything
grow
about-
huge mass. Huh?
I was just gonna say when you talk about this, Chad, or all of it, like I think about sourdough bread. You have sourdough bread anywhere, it's what it is, right? You go to San Francisco and you have sourdough bread. The atmospheric pressure, like everything about it creates this. Okay, so elevation. I mean, there are so many fucking variables.
What if you could replicate the room
The
to match
bagels
the
in New York
environment?
City, man. The bagels in
Exactly.
New York City really are
No
that
joke.
fucking fantastic. But it all comes down to the water they use.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay.
So
I like
lead.
Gotta use sewer water to get right bagels.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound very kosher to me. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't. It's like the hot dogs from the stands in New York. I don't exactly question what's in them. I just take them at face value.
Yeah, do not question what's in that water, in that cart, or when the last time it was clean. Just eat that motherfucker and enjoy it. And hope you have a good gut biome because you're going to need it.
We have one of these awesome, wonderful, I'm not gonna say dirty carts, but it's more like a fucking camper.
Roach coach?
Yeah,
Roach coach.
it's a camper.
Okay.
And they cook burgers and shit, and they're actually pretty famous for their I think it's a murder burger. It's like 3 patties. Their hot dogs are supposed to be pretty famous. I had a few, but I was pretty drunk when I had them. And they stay open till like 3, 4 in the morning, and they are literally parking their fucking camper right on the sidewalk in front of City Hall. And there was a huge fight because one of the mayors wanted it gone, and it's like a staple of our area. And yeah, nah, he put it back because everybody was pissed because that was the spot. It still is a spot. I'm not even gonna say that. It's one of the few spots, but
I do miss a good taco truck, man.
haven't come across one of those.
No. All over in the city. A lot of food trucks, but I'm not there anymore. Who's gonna do the mobile grow though? There's got to be the mobile squish like we were talking about earlier. You just go from one place to the other. Set it up like Chong's van.
A mobile grow might be tough depending on what you're growing in.
I remember back in the day seeing one in an ad or like a funny ad for in High Times or something where they converted a tractor trailer into it, and they just said, yeah.
If you set up like a van and cut the top off and made it like during the summer or whatever, and had it nothing but like glass on top, so you could use fucking the sun and drive around, chase the sun down during veg, and then park the whole entire flower.
You got issues, bro. That's a lot to keep a fucking plant veg right there.
Might as well do it on a sailboat. Have like a sailboat with a trailer that's a greenhouse.
So in international waters,
That's a lot of salt water floating around.
Yeah, you don't want to get caught with. It's so weird. Cannabis on a boat will get you fucked. Other substances, not as much. It's a weird law, but we have a lot of crabbers in this town, and yeah, there's a lot of them could use some weed instead of other things.
Yeah, but they can get away with the other things, so they use
Exactly.
that instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
crazy.
Just
And I mean the captains too. Again, international waters or just the waters off the coast here. One joint will get the boat taken.
jeez.
And that's the livelihood of a lot of people. So one joint can ruin it all.
I was watching one of those shows on TV, and they banned this kid from ever coming back to the United States because he had residue of weed in a pocket, and the dog and alerted him. And I mean, he was like 19 years old, and he coming from a music festival, you know, and
Right.
to the United States for the rest of his life. I was like, wow, that's kind of excessive, guys.
You mean residue like he had like a roach?
No, it's not. Yeah, like he had like crumbs in there or some shit. Like they were just tested out.
And they straight up tested that shit? Damn.
Yeah.
It's one of those
We're
airport-
bored. You know what? We should use some taxpayers' money. Let's test this.
So I got a question though. Back to what Fluffkins was pointing out that nobody can grow as good as him, basically. But
You actually listened to that part? Wow. I didn't even hear it. I hear it so many times. Sometimes it's like,
You motherfucker, you're like my damn wife. Like, I didn't say that shit. Stop that.
no, but you were saying nobody could grow it like you or whatever because your soil and whatnot. But that kind of brings up a good question, because then what really is the true expression of, so say, I don't know, whatever elite clone you want to call out wedding cake, right? So you have the wedding cake cut, but it's going to grow only Fluffy's way. You know what I mean? Like, so is that then when after you grew it, is that then the wedding cake cut, because, or is it Fluffy's way of wedding cake cut?
I think it's the one that gets out there the most. So, you
no,
know what I
it
mean?
would be
Like,
it'd be the creator of it and whatever parameters he used.
okay,
Like,
but then go into looking at how a lot of people are testing nowadays. A lot of people aren't even testing their own shit. They're just breeding stuff, sending it off to people, getting reports. So you wouldn't even know how that breeder grows his own damn plant.
I like working you up.
Yeah, I mean, that's another good point, you know, like whatever. But nonetheless, though, I mean, say I grow and find a keeper from a tester round and I hand it to you and you grow it your Fluffy way, and it comes out different. You know?
So
I think it's like the small notes. I think there's a general consensus of what the plant is, what the plant smells like. Everybody kind of like for that cut, that strain, that, you know, what that phenotype, everybody kind of gets that one general, like, okay, there's a lemon, there's it's high lemonine with a little bit of skunk underneath, and everybody generally gets that, right? But then one guy's comes out a little more on like a high limey side and like really fucking skunky, and it's just the way he grew it. And then one guy's just comes out fucking straight skunky and nobody knows where the hell the fucking lemon went. So, you know, and I've seen that in different cuts. But generally, you know, they all kind of have the same, or that cut will have the same taste through all growers. And then it's the nuance of it that you can taste.
Our previous grow actually proved that, because we were all growing the Canico and we were talking about the lime flavor, and some of us had an extreme lime and more of a gas and a lack of lime. So we just did that, and we're doing it with the Hatchingot. We all have somewhat of a fruit flavor that's there, but there's definitely like a gas mix behind it, and it could change.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good one. He's exactly right. We're all doing the same strain from a breeder, just kind of having some fun with it, all doing it our way. And yeah, there's one guy in the group, you know, his is like, he keeps coming. He's like, who else's smells like turpentine? And nobody else's fucking smells like turpentine.
I said lemon pledge. Lemon pledge.
Right.
Mine smells like lemon pledge.
Right. But we do have a consensus in the whole group that everybody has a little bit of like a lemon cleaner to it, you know, and there you go. But everybody's nose is just a hair different on it.
You're also getting different basically levels of terpene representation there. You know, it's, and that almost kind of like, I'm wondering what the answer to the big question here is, but that also kind of goes back to like chemovars. Maybe people are calling them kind of chemovars instead of strains. They may have, you know, like my version and Fluff's version and Smiley's version and Prophet's version. They may have similar chemical makeups, cannabinoids, and terpenes, but they're not dead on. Whereas I think almost like strain implies that they have to be dead on. whereas the chemovar maybe leaves a little bit of wiggle room for those variances. That's just kind of spitballing it here. And I'd love to hear your ideas on that one, but also too, how do we address, I mean, if that's the case, if everything is different, whether we all pop
Everything
the same seed,
is different.
why don't we just give them all different names?
Well, it's from the same breeder.
Isn't that what fucking happens? I mean, look at fucking god damn it, Chem Dog. Chem Dog was nothing but a fucking bag seed that was popped, and somebody renamed it to something else.
Yep.
So
And
what the
that,
hell was Chem Dog actually?
Yep. And that was my other question though. It's like, so how do we treat bag seed? Like right now, I just popped the Orange Kush Breath and a Petrol Rainbow. Both of them were bag seeds. So when I write my tag and stick it in my planner, do I write Orange Kush Breath and do I write Petrol Rainbow?
I would, just to see how close.
According to
it
Chem Dog,
gets.
you name it whatever the fuck you want and go on with your day and hope it's a winner and sell it to all your friends. Right? I mean, let's be honest, that's what it is. Right? I got the same thing. I've actually sent it out, or allegedly maybe my brother sent it out to some, panel members. I have no fucking clue what it is. It was a bag seed. So I just got to give it a name because everyone asks what the fuck it is. I don't know what it is. It's bag seed. A friend gave it to me. I grew it out. It was fucking funky and unique. So it was fun. It was it was a crappy plant.
Here in America, we call those a proprietary.
Right.
But you didn't even know the name of the plant. That's the thing.
Yeah.
He does. So he should start off with the information.
Yeah, but if he
plant.
comes out with if it's a seed though,
And then it's something
so
different.
it can be something totally different than what it originally grew in as.
And then he knows he's got something different.
Right.
Then,
So
then he'll know.
Is that when you rename it? Like,
and if I had enough of them, there was only one of each. But if there were enough, and if I had a whole bunch of seeds from a plant that I bought in the rec market, I probably wouldn't throw them in. But if you had enough and you found a male in there, then it got pollinated. But the assumption usually is that it was a herm. It's not always the case, but when you have one seed and it's a female, it's hard to say, well, yeah, it was a herm, or no, it was a male that pollinated this and it has other genetics in it. So yeah, that's just like, is it Petro Rainbow BS bag seed? What do you do there?
Backyard booty.
That's kind of what I always used to go with. I used to tell people that it was given to me as this cut fucking bag seed. Bam, there you go. And that's what I used to call it as. So
if I don't know what it is and it's a sativa, it's a mistiva. If I don't know what it is, it's a more indica dominant. It's a
Sky Rizzy.
It's a Sky. That's when I get them off my friends. It's a I forgot what I called the other one, like
Mystica,
Mythica, or something like that. Something off the wall. Like if I had no idea, but I could tell by looking at the plant that all right, this is a sativa dominant, or this one's indica dominant at least. But yeah, I had mystery names for plants. Fuck.
Yeah.
Look, I got mystery seeds from you.
I told you, I've name them whatever the hell you want. Just don't get sued.
Yeah.
I'm pretty certain if you ever got seeds from fucking Prophet, just call it a mystery seed. Because the other day we were talking about something that me and him have talked about for like a couple months. And he finally sent it out. It was a big fucking what to do. And then the other day he's like, I sent you that? What? Yes. And it only happened like a fucking little bit ago. Like this is only like a week or two ago, maybe, that they fucking got mailed to me. So it's just like, dude, come on.
Was it really only a week or two ago? I thought it was like 2 months.
No, it was a little while ago.
Oh, all right. I was like, when did I find time?
I know. I love fucking making his brain melt, though. I like making him think shit happened like yesterday. And he's like, what?
Look, I got to go through my phone.
I'm pretty sure I'm personally responsible for fucking up quite a few of Prophet's days. Like not knowing what fucking day it was.
Yeah. He has.
If not you, one of his ladies.
Yeah, they've been leaving him alone, though, it seems. Kind of nice. He looks a little more calm
It's
I
'cause
think
he's
it's
a
all
working
that time
dude.
outside of the house. Hey, he's
Well,
relaxing a little bit.
Things got a lot easier. Like I said, I had a lot of shit moving, helping, starting a job, so trying to pull all that off. So a normal week's getting a little easier to deal with, and like I also was still doing the show, so just your body just got to get used to it, man. That's it. And then now that's only half the amount of energy I was doing before. It's getting easier, so that's cool because I was passing out on you guys for a little while.
We didn't even notice. Trust me.
That's
Oh,
when I would put on those glasses on Friday, dude. I loved it. Forget it. Like the rainbow ones, my eyes would be fucking like, doom.
So I'm pheno hunting again, guys. I just the other day I germinated a bunch of seeds. I went and got some clones off of a friend, and then I just see every when you ever get genetics from someone, you have good intentions with them. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna run these, and then you're just like, no, I don't want to for just whatever reason. Sometimes you have a good one, sometimes you don't. But it was just kind of like I went there to get a certain cut and it wasn't there, and like it was an accident, right? We've all done that. You meant to keep a plant and then you just threw it into bloom without taking the cut. We've all been there. One of those situations, and she was very gracious and gave me a cut of her violator, which I'm still trying to hold on to. But then I thought about it because I always talk, like as I mentioned before, I'm gonna try if that Jack the Ripper that we're hoping to send some good mojo its way, and it turns out to be a male. I wanted to cross it with my old cut of wedding cake because that was one that I got back, and I was gonna name that Fluffy Cakes after Fluff. And then I thought about it. Well, it's like, well, but that it doesn't it kind of wouldn't it mean more if I took that white wedding or wedding cake, sorry, crossed with White Widow by Afghani that I bred up a while ago and went pheno hunting through that. I found a good representative of wedding cake or better. And maybe cross that to the Jack the Ripper and named that after a friend of mine. So I went and germinated 10 of those seeds, and all 10 of them sprouted, and they're looking real strong. And then also because you know how you just get all hot and horny when you start throwing seeds into the paper towels to get them going, or whatever your method is. Gorilla Skittles, since I didn't get that cut back, we decided to try bag seeds from 2 different bags and try those, compare those. 2 popped and look real good out of the one, and only 1 looks real good out of the 3. And then we popped 7 of Hurtin' Space Dose. 5 of those look real strong, and 2 of those we'll see. To be honest, but like I've seen lots of pictures of his stuff, so we're really excited about that. We've been cutting or having clones, showing roots in the root machine there. Got the turbo cloner. Had a Spider Girl 1. That's my Charlotte's Web by Violator Chemdog Afghani. There's a few people growing that, and it's looking good. So I'm still about to see how that's doing in flower. That's really exciting. That I got my meathead cross. I can't remember which one it is. There's a couple different meathead crosses that I got. I lost track. Some orange gasm, lemon Jeffrey, all that shit. So we'll probably we'll probably end up throwing a bunch of those in a tent just as to something to do. That's not really the purpose for the breeding project necessarily, but you know how it is. Like, why throw just 2 plants together when you can throw a bunch of plants? Because there's a bunch of people that'll be interested in trying those seeds, right? So at the very least, you're fucking
If you're gonna pollinate everything, you might as well do it intentionally rather than unintentionally.
Yeah, exactly. Fluff's got the right idea.
Hey, Chad, did I hear you have a space dose? Did you get that one going?
I haven't popped it yet. No.
Are you gonna get that going? And if
Yeah.
so, I just really want you to bust Hurtin's balls. So just fucking go with it. Just tell him how fucking shitty of a plan is. He can't hear us.
I'll show
No
him the
matter
picture.
how good it is, tell him it's trash.
Yeah.
It's part of the big plan.
I'll just use I'll use pictures of one of the plants I have in my flower right now. It's the most fucking embarrassing thing I've ever grown in my life. Like I'll probably post it soon. It's probably like,
Why don't you tell us about it?
oh my God.
You brought it up, man.
No.
I knew it was kind of a pain. Like I had never seen it has cookies in its
Tell us
genetics.
from the beginning. Tell us from the
Okay,
beginning.
we'll start with that.
Tell
We'll
us from the
start with it. There's cookies.
It's got good. All right, you nailed it. All
I'm
right,
not
we
gonna.
know the struggle.
Yeah, I'm not gonna name the strain or the breeder just because I grew one seed one time, and I don't think that's fair. But this one plant it's been the biggest bitch I've ever seen in my life. Like if you want, like, dude, too much above like that much too much water or that much too little water, it will seriously flip. The leaves will flip over on itself and curl if you give it too much water. The top would actually like dive down. I've never seen a plant do this before. I took pictures of it just because it was so what the fuck. I didn't really have room in flower for it, so it was just going to be the one that I killed. Trying new seeds from other people, one of them turned out to be a herm, so I pulled it out and I put this in, and it just shot like straight up. It's seriously, I will be lucky to harvest a half an ounce off of it, and it's about 5 feet tall. So if that says anything to you, it just straight, and the bottom, like the bottom of the stem is skinnier than the middle. When it went to the stretch, like the stalk just like beefed up. It's the weirdest fucking plant I've ever seen.
Anybody out there wants a cut? You can
It totally hit me up. Only $200 this week though. It's going up after that.
It's the new freak show, right?
I'm on that.
It's a new freak show, bud.
Yeah, no, I'm hoping that it'll redeem itself and maybe it'll just be like a miracle terpene cookie or taste great. But
are you gonna rename it?
I want to see these crazy.
Am I gonna rename it what, bees?
Like muffin top, because it's like
right, muffin top. No,
tree trunk cookie.
You know what? I think that's what I'll do is I will take a picture of it, put it on Instagram, and like have a you name it contest. Because I don't know. But again, it was just one seed, and that's kind of what I'm doing right now is I'm just running through one or two from a whole bunch of different things, and then I'm going to get an idea of how long it takes to flower, what the internodal length is like, what the stretch is like. If basically I want to see how different plants grow, what they're going to offer me in the end, and then I'll come back heavy with the rest of the seeds next time down the road when I get to the point of like, okay, I've narrowed it down to these particular strains that I'm really wanting to work with, get to know better, understand them, grow them out a few times, just make sure they're consistent, and then maybe start putting them together. So that's the plan.
I don't think you need to put the naming thing down. I think it already got nailed in fucking chat. Kingfisher called it FUPA.
FUPA. I know FUBAR. What's FUPA?
Fat upper pubic area.
Fat upper pussy area.
Oh wow, is that like a Cardi B song or something?
I don't know. I like to call it
Look at his face. He's like, oh wow.
Oh, that's
it's not WAP, yo.
Definitely would be a fupa.
Yeah, okay.
Ain't that a gun?
Yeah, see, I always called it a gunt.
Yeah, that's a gut cunt. Like that gut above the cunt.
Oh, I'm sorry, I brought it up now.
Yeah. So I live and learn too. We all have winners, we all have losers, they all can't be winners. And I've got one that it just makes me smile. I try not to talk bad about it in front of it, but yeah.
I had one, it was a gelato bag seed. I got some gelato, one of my favorites, got a fucking bag seed, fucking stoked, right? Fuck, I planted that bitch right away. It came up strong, dude. I mean, like stem like a fucking dime, like right out of the ground damn near. I was like, whoa, check you out. And then it got about fucking 10 inches tall. And then it started to just look like celery. I was like, what the fuck? And I mean, no matter what I did, I just could not bring that planter because I wanted to keep it. I was going to flower that fucking weird ass motherfucker out because it had made some neat pictures. But I just could not get that thing to just get any kind of decent growth. And then, since it was growing on top of each other and getting all, intertwined and shit, just started killing itself off. So I was sad, but I feel your pain on that, man. I like to run them, just keep them going, see what happens.
Man, my coffee died for no.
Yeah, I have a hard time culling things sometimes. So going through them like I am now is a little bit different for me. I'm trying to go through the camera now and just find some of the pictures of the leaves when they would twist, because it's just the weirdest freaking thing in the world.
Hey, I'll
Yeah, that
tell
sounded
you what,
cool as shit.
I got that roadkill skunk down in the basement. Man, that thing is looking beautiful. Beautiful. Smells. I did a stem rub on it the other day. I swear to God, every time I go down there and do it, I go down there and sneak a stem rub just so I can be reminded of the early 90s.
Wow, what breeder did that come from?
Well, I got a cut from 311. He'll know who the breeder was and everything, but he sent me over a cut of that when I told him I was getting ready to open up my room. He's like, try this out. So I'm pretty impressed with it. I mean, I'm in on week 5 with it, and I already got golf sized buds on it. I mean, it's just, and it's stacking up beautiful.
Yeah, that's one I would totally, if I was getting that aroma, whatever the yield is, I'm happy with.
I don't care what the yield is, but I'm happy with what the yield's looking like it's going to be. So it's, I told him it's definitely a keeper.
Yeah, you guys and fucking, bunch of people here in the close circle, boy, they're just getting all about those skunks lately. And
I love them.
that, yeah. Holy shit, yeah, it flipped upside down.
Yeah, that's just like right after just a little bit of watering. Shit just like flips over and bends over. I'll try to find one where it actually like curled, but you can see,
that didn't like twist over either. That like flipped.
Yeah, you can see down there that the lower leaves too are just flipping over. It was the weirdest plant, man.
I would have kept it around and named it something and just pet it all the time and talk to it. I think I would have made it my friend.
There are some that just can't, like, I don't know, you give them water and they fucking get pissed. Like, I don't know, there's some of them that are like that. It's just weird.
Yeah, and it's it's just totally sensitive, and it's like I knew what the trigger was, and that totally was it, and it would it fixed itself every time. It always came right back around. But it's kind of like I realize some strains have just like wonderful tastes or whatever the appeal is, or I mean this is like 4 layers of hype times hype deep on it. And I think cookies are like every part of the way. But, it's like at what point do you just like say, no, this is actually a shitty plant. I hate growing it and it doesn't do jack. So let's just freaking cut it out of the world.
I've been getting quick to say that now, man.
But it's got that name, yo.
Fuck out. It's got to hit, dude. It's got to hit.
Yeah,
got to, right?
The best way I think to judge that is what people come back asking for. Flat out. You can have your own opinion all you want, but what I've learned is that people come back asking for shit that I don't like necessarily, and there's something to that it's kind of like, well, it's got to stay, right?
Yeah, but then when you talk to people like that, people also just go in and don't give a shit what the name is and just say, what's the THC percentage on it? Some people don't even know what the fuck they're smoking, but they know it's fucking 32.74%. So there's that too.
Right. No, I get it, but I'm just saying, like as that's been my experience. Like, it's easy to tell the phenos because there's ones that I really like, but people don't ask for it. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's obviously not one that's very popular.
That does kind of break my heart. Like my favorite strain that I've grown, and I grew it for many years. I loved it. Never the first jar empty. usually one of the last jars empty when you leave a bunch of jars out. And I don't know if it just wasn't strong enough for everybody, but yeah, I feel you there. I'm like, but this is the one, guys. Everybody has their own tastes.
Well, I laugh. I mean, I'm very much a gelato and a cake guy. I love gelatos. I love cakes. I fucking love them, right? And everyone's like, "And that shit's played out." I don't give a fuck if it's played out for you or not. I fucking love it. That is my fucking jam. So when that's in some shit, I'm good. So I will say I feel you on that one too. Because right, you know, say it's played out. Cool, I'll take it. You know, leave more for me. Good.
I will take all your Blue Dream and GG4 happily.
Yeah, that's funny. I was just talking with somebody about the fucking Blue Dream earlier. And you're like, you think that would ever make a comeback? I said, fuck yeah, it'll make a comeback eventually. I said, everybody, fuck. There you go. Smiley's got GG4. But yeah, I was like, it'll make a comeback. You know, it tasted good. It hit good. And it fucking yielded like a motherfucker. Like, there's no downside to the plant other than once people get a hold of it and like it, they grow way too fucking much of it. That's the only fucking downside of it.
Yeah, and you're like, can I just get something different? Can I just have something different?
Yeah, and hopefully there is at least one person that, you know, keeps it around, because we've lost strains that way. Everybody was growing it, and then everybody stopped because they figured somebody else would still have it.
Yeah, you know, actually for a while I had that Purple Fantasy, just the Purple Fantasy #1, you know, like the actual one that people wanted. You know, I had that one, and I had it around for a long time, and you know, I got on trying to look for more of it and stuff, and it was getting almost impossible to find, you know. And then I only got like 2 seeds to fucking germinate because they were so goddamn old. Luckily, they both turned female, 2 different phenos, and it was cool. And I kept it around for a long time, and it was kind of a pain in the ass plant, so I let it go, you know. And I was over it. It was a good yielder. It was the Blue Dream. It was the whole Blue Dream thing, you know. I was just fucking over it. And when I started handing it out to people, they're like, "God, this is fucking good. You know, we love this. It's different. It's and I'm like, well, yeah, because it's fucking 12 years old. Yeah, it's fucking old ass goddamn strain." And I let it go, and then I was kind of sad about it. But I've recently been seeing a lot of breeding projects with it in it, so you know, it's cool to see, you know, hope for some of those cool strains, you know.
Yeah, and that's a good point too, because the base of my like genetic material and most of my collection is from 10 years ago, when we had the medical system here. So it's really only now that I'm getting to try a lot of these newer genetics and things that weren't around then. So you know, there might be a little bit of a difference too that I'm seeing just in structure and whatnot. But again, I'm not too far into this. I just stopped making seeds and all that last run to start working through phenos and some of the awesome things that I have now. Got a lot of awesome opportunities. So I'm curious. I want to play with them all.
I just got a cut of ice cream cake.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
But I've got a bunch of really cool fucking shit when it comes to that. There was hell, one of our viewers, guy who's in everywhere, Rosin Man. He crossed this baklava by Pinky Promise. And just fucking thinking about me, I talk about how fucking, you know, I love wedding cake, I love fucking gelato. And he's like, oh yeah, by the way, this has got both of them in it. Here you go. And to top it off, it's got a little fucking 9-pound hammer in it. I mean, this is some shit, and I've got it popped down. Fucking super stoked for it, you know. I mean, it seems like no matter what I get, it's gonna fucking be amazing. And then on top of it, he says it brings the cherry hardcore. So fingers crossed, man, because I love that shit.
Yeah, I guess one of the newer things that I popped is actually an old thing. So stoked. I got 4 of these going right now. Oh, there we go. It's like Chem 91 is one of my favorites. But this is a Chem 91 back cross 2 times Chem Cis. It's called Twin Peaks. It's from Skunk VA. but I just popped 4 of these, and I am certainly hoping I'll get a nice mail out of those. We'll see. But I guess some of my new stuff is old stuff too.
Hey, good, man. That's what keeps it alive that way. You know, fucking couple guys behind the times are going to make it for everybody. Let's be honest.
Yeah, totally. I still the ancient guy. They're like Uncle Rico. You know, back in high school, I could throw a football 400 yards.
Hey, man. I mean, I have
Al
just
Bundy.
seeds. I have seeds from like the early fucking 90s and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I never threw seeds away. I was that fucking bag seed hoarder. You know, I have them all. They're all fucking mixed. I give them to all my fucking breeder friends and shit. Dude, that's like some of the most exciting times when I fucking pop a seed that's like 25, 30 fucking years old. And you're like, let's see what the fuck comes out of this. Now, a lot of times it's not great. There was a lot of Mexican fucking brick seeds. And, but hey, sometimes you find a winner in that shit.
I got a lot of old strains from like about 6 years ago when I first started. So I just started like Chad getting back into that. So I kind of got an old seed bank myself.
I think a lot of fucking cool genetics are going to come out from guys like that. I've been passing some of those super old fucking seeds off to breeders and stuff, hoping that we find something cool that they can start fucking working with. So and any of my fucking friends that still have that shit, I take it. I'm ready. Fucking bring it.
Well, what are those caribou?
Those are hurting space dose. Yeah, all of those are popped, and throwing them dirt. See how they do. And 5 got massive tails. 2 are popped, but don't have the massive leaders on them. We're gonna throw them dirt and see how all they do in the pheno hunt when we go away. It's exciting. Just like fucking kid on Christmas right now. It's like, ooh, opening up presents. What are we gonna have? It's yeah, this is so cool. And for those Gorilla Skittles though, I'm not like those bag seeds. I'm just like, I think this is the first time I've ever gone pheno hunting and actually hoping, like fingers crossed, maybe I get that one pheno. Like hoping like hell before. Usually it's just like you pop seeds and just see what you can get, or oh yeah, I've had that before. Maybe hopefully it's something close to it. Like say you pop Bubba Kush seeds just as an example. Well, this is like that was my. It's that strain that I wish I'd never lost. It's no simpler way to put it, right? Most of us will have that. So.
I'd be curious, Smiley. You've had a lot of different strains. What is one that you miss? Or are you totally satisfied?
Well, no, I'm just trying to think because there are some that just, they were really beautiful, really good smoke. One that kind of came to mind was Platinum Delight from Sin City Genetics.
Okay.
And yeah, it was like, I'm trying to think of the cross it was, but it's a cookie cross basically. But it grew like really, quarter size nugs. They were probably 2 to 3 inch internodal spacing between them. So it was easy to trim. They were really frosty, but it didn't weigh out to be shit, really. Mm-hmm. So as far as like a keeper,
right?
I don't know. I mean, it didn't. At that time, I had peanut butter breath, and the peanut butter breath was yielding a little more, and they were fairly similar as far as like they had a lavender color. They were frosty as fuck, and they actually tasted like something, So.
Do you have like a couple just individual strain like head stash plants in your garden?
Probably Well, Skywalker OG is probably the one there. I've been holding on to a Ghost OG cut as well that I don't really run through production wise. I kind of keep it off to the side. Yeah, I don't know. I just ain't ready to get rid of them. They're kind of like unique cuts that I would never be able to get back again. So it's kind of like, I don't know, some of that shit. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know where I'd begin to find a fucking 25-year-old cut of the Skywalker OG.
So for doing something like that, I mean, do you consider selfing it, making some fem seeds of it, and is that going to be a close enough representation and a way to just put it in your vault and let you know that you have it for a long time? Is that something that you'd be, that you would do with that?
Well, I did consider that, but I guess I tried to reverse Purple Punch, so I didn't try to reverse Skywalker, but I didn't have much luck with the Purple Punch either. So as far as getting anything accomplished, it did grow all fucked up and whatever. But yeah, it was like, so I guess when I had that trouble, I just kind of put that out of my mind, but that was the thought behind doing an outcross. So I got this female, right? So I want to try to copy that. One way is to reverse. The other way is I have a male that has some of the Skywalker lineage in it already. So I'm assuming it's carrying some of that with it. And if not, I mean, it's probably not going to like dramatically have a different flavor profile.
Just just maybe find a donor enough male that's close enough to everything to where, if it's just the male, just close enough to what you want, and then fucking knock her against it. And, that might be a good enough you will at least get a representation again, from that lineage.
I wasn't going to stop there though. So the idea of that is I'd find a male from that next lineage. So those seeds, that first generation was the outcross. You find a male from that outcross and you put it back to the original mom clone, the original Skywalker clone that I'm trying to copy. And then that prodigy would be the back cross, is my understanding of that. So that's probably going to give you one of the better shots of trying to like zero in. But ideally, you would do that again. You would find a male from that back cross prodigy, and then you would bring that back to the original clone again. And then you're probably getting into the 90% range or whatever that you'd be popping something to mom. But it's all like selection too, you know what I mean? So like the male selection is really critical there too. Are you getting a mom leaning or a dad leaning kind of male?
I guess that's really my question when it comes down to it. Is trying to feminize it and hoping that you get that. Is that going to give you a better representation? And it'll get you there faster for sure. If that's what works.
There's still a backdrop of lineage though that can express itself when you're selfing it, right?
Yeah. Well, and here's the other thing is like the plant structure wise, it's kind of one of them weird wispy ones too, where it doesn't want to hold itself up so well and certain things like that. Right. So the other side that I was thinking with the outcross, especially with the sky color, is these things grow with like amazing structure. That's actually the plant that I thought was the fishing pole. That's a sky color seed or whatever, cross from the sky color. But anyway, so you can see it grows like, and they all kind of grew straight like that. So I know that's part of what that's going to bring to it. So I wanted to be able to add some structure to it, maybe even some yield to it or whatever, but I want something that's going to grow and clone easy and carry that flavor and stone profile that I love about the original,
Right.
And I don't have much intention to like be, I don't know, like this is just something I want to do for what you were talking about. I don't want to lose it. I want to have some kind of a seed form to fucking.
Yeah, that was because that was actually a thing with me is the Hawaiian that we have. I talk about it a lot. I like the plant. My friends like it. It's been in my circle for a fucking long time. And this winter, it almost got lost. In the area where everybody has it, there was one, and I got one clone off of it, and that plant looked like shit. So now, you know, I was trying to save it for him. So now I have a nice, healthy, beautiful, bushy one. I can clone the fuck out of it and just pass it out and we'd be good. But I'd like to kind of get a more stable saving, you know. So I wanted to hit it, you know, just feminize it. You know, I wanted to give them something they could fucking throw down and find this plant again in fairly quickly. So my idea was to try to feminize it. But then I got really excited about an Alaskan thunderfuck that decided to turn male. And so it's now going to be crossed with that instead. And then I've got cuts to feminize later. But I got really excited about crossing it first. So I'm going to get that one out first.
Well, that could be your outcross though. So like what I was talking about, then when you get those seeds done, you're going to pop those and test them. You're obviously going to find some boys. And then the challenge would be, do you find a boy that leans towards that Alaskan thunderfuck, or do you find the one that leans towards something more what you resembles the other mom, you know what I'm saying? And then that's the thought process I'm kind of putting behind it is like, I don't know, like Purple Punch, for example, I was kind of fucking around with that one too. And I noticed there's a certain leaf structure that plant kind of throws, at least the Purple Punch clone I have. It's a noticeable kind of weird, different leaf structure. And I can pick that out in the male. So like now I have a you know what I mean? Now I have a high punch, you know, a high Mac by Purple Punch male that I can ID that tends to seem to lean towards the Purple Punch. But you can do that. Like somebody was talking about that the other night, even going to an extreme, like bringing in like a known purple, right? And then that way you can identify and separate out what males are going to be leaning towards that mom that you're after easier, because they'd be the green ones, right? They wouldn't be the fucking purple one. You know what I mean? So it kind of, I mean, just that's the thought process behind it, I guess, if that makes sense.
Totally a good thought too. Like I've Mr. Saul, you know, Cindy's 99, he did his back crossing to get there. But one of the interesting things I pulled from just that kind of that method is you have your elite cut and then you cross it with something that maybe isn't so awesome. So when you run the offspring, that elite cut, or, you know, the genetics from the elite cut, you're seeing that expressed very easily in certain plants, which you're then back to be able to take back to the mother or the original father. And that's kind of a faster way, or kind of almost a way to cheat the system. You still have to do the work, but if you put that obvious trait in there, or like that purple trait, if that still expresses reliably, then it can help you back cross and isolate what you want more out of a particular strain, something that you may have considered selfing because you wanted it to stay as pure as possible.
Or you find a male that, you know, somewhat has a recessive, you know what I mean, then a majority of the offspring would express as the male or the female side anyway. You know, there's guys that do something like that too.
Yeah,
there's
and
males that won't really add much to it. It'll just be
I've really passive males. I've had a really passive male in the past where it seems like pretty much everything that I hit it with comes out with the mom. And that's actually a good thing for me.
That's fucking bitching. Yeah, are you kidding me? That's perfect, like breeding stock right there, right? You get exactly what you want. It's easy to find.
Yeah, and that's the whole idea behind it is I mean, honestly, you really don't know. You know, I mean, even the best of the breeders, they don't know. They're doing their best to zero in and kind of, you know what I mean? And they have talent and skill and things they've learned along the way. No doubt. I'm not taking anything away from that, but I'm just saying, like, ultimately you kind of guess. And like a lot of the breeders, I mean, that's why like, well, one off the top of my head, Rasta Jeff, for example, has his one stud. He
Yep.
knows what it fucking
Yep.
does because he's
Yep.
hit it against every fucking clone. You know what I mean? And it's
Yep.
nothing against that. I'm just saying he knows what that does because of experience, and that's, you know, that's one angle to the thing too. You know, he, especially if you got one that you know fucking rocks it. And who knows what that one is until you start hitting it to stuff. You know what I mean? So
Well, yeah, and it seems like, you know, when he grabbed that male like seems to express only what he wants it to express. Like that male does what he wants it to do perfectly. So yeah, I mean, I'd knock that motherfucker against everything too.
And it goes to numbers too. It's like, you know, I'm saying everything expressed like the mother on that. And so far it has, but I bet if I run 1,000 of them, I'm going to see differences than I'm seeing in just, you know, the maybe 20 or 10 or 15 that I've run since then. You know, it's definitely a numbers game in that aspect. But I think, and you know, I started unintentionally this way by growing plants and getting really familiar with them, kind of like your Skywalker, Smiley. If you hit that to something, you're going to be able to see instantly in the first generation, usually, what passed on and what didn't take. And for like, really for breeding, since it is, you know, it's educated guesswork, but I think that's probably one of the best tools you have is just familiarity with your strains. And that only comes from time, really.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm excited to get popping actually some of the high max stuff too. That's coming up soon. That has not hit the soil yet, but you're in the rotation.
Well, that Skywalker high mac, Buddha Boy grew that out, so he's had a few pictures of his on there, and it looked pretty fucking fire. So I'm excited. I actually probably this weekend I'm going to be moving my round of those into flower, so I'll get to see some of them what they look like. So excited.
And then you said you made another generation of them now, right? So you'll be able to even compare that too, huh?
Yeah, the boys I selected out of those and then moved them out. So the one I picked outside or whatever, and then I had clones. I actually did 2 clones of the original Skywalker because, like I said, this thing's a bitch to clone, and I thought I lost it actually almost. So, like, I was kind of worried about that, but yeah. So anyway, these ones I pollinated the original mom with the boys from there. So next year I'll have like a back cross round. But I'm more excited about the Sky Cuddler cross, but that I still am sorting the seed. So I'll pop those in the spring, and that'll be kind of next year's male project to do.
Do you only pollinate outside, or do you do anything indoors?
I did the Sky Cuddler indoors, and then so I don't know if it's all going to come together right now. Like I said, I'm just emptying out my veg room this weekend and putting them all into flower, and that'll be a tester round for my last ones or whatever. And then the ones I'm staging in the veg behind that, I'm hoping is going to be the DOA run that we're doing with Eagle. I'm doing it with Eagle Gardens and like Miranda Family Farms, so he's in chat or whatever. But so I have the Jack Skillington, and DOA was a listener to the show, passed away, and 2 of his favorite strains. He was a huge weed nerd with TGA seed, and 2 of his favorite strains we knew about. So it just so happened that Miranda Family Farms had those seeds of those, and he sent them to Eagle, and then Eagle grew out the one strain and I grew out the other. So Eagle has Cholumbium and I have Jack Skillington. And then the idea was, yeah, we're gonna select a male and make a run with a female cross to it. So my understanding is I got the male from the Jack, so I'm gonna run that, and I'm gonna get a clone of Eagles, whatever clone he picks of the Cholumbium female, I'm gonna get, and then I'm gonna pollinate. So I'm gonna fill the room. So I'm gonna have Jack's, you know, like Jilly Bean in there, and I don't know, some other ones. So
that is fucking awesome, dude. That is awesome.
Yeah, so
I can't wait to see that. That's gonna be great.
And yeah, and you know, it's all gonna go. I don't know. We're just gonna send them out Like,
Are you gonna make a Jack and Jill?
it's gonna be a free seed giveaway. We're just gonna do the Jack Skillington or the Chalumbium or whatever. But the Jack Skillington female I got is fucking fire, dude. As I don't know, the description of it is it's violently potent, and I guess my description of it would be that it's really heady. It was like, I don't know, I smoked a joint of it and then fucking like found myself staring at the wall deep in thought about something that I totally forgot what I was thinking about the minute I realized I was just staring at the fucking wall. Like, I don't know. So yeah, it was pretty
So it's some good shit.
yeah, no, yeah, it wasn't like couch locky at all. Like, I totally was into the thought that I
You
was
totally
thinking.
could have
Like,
fucking
I was
done
totally deep
something.
and rolling on that fucking idea, you know. So
That, and if you had something to do, you totally would have fucking done it if you could have got there.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, those are my favorite kinds, man. The shit that's got you just spinning in circles, fucking thinking like a mile a minute. Fucking, you're getting all kinds of shit done while nothing is getting done at all. Yeah, those are my favorites. I love those weeds.
So yeah, I'm excited. Like, I don't know, I'm gonna throw a clone of that and then probably do a F2 basically of the Jack Skillington. And I was making a list of trying to figure out which ones to cross with it.
So, it's getting late, and before it gets too late, I just want to tell, like, both between you and Chad, I love you guys' content, man. You guys are always putting out fucking great information. You're keeping it out there for everybody. It's reliable. It's good quality information, and I appreciate that. And I really want to thank you guys for coming on this show to share with everybody else too. So I want to thank you guys tonight.
Thank you, man. Definitely appreciated.
Right, I'm
And back to that, I got to get out of here. But thanks so much. It was awesome listening to you guys and listening to Smiley and Fluff talk soil. That was pretty awesome. I like that. I'm definitely go back and listen to that again. Chad, always good. Everybody else, peace out.
Come on, man. Shred some concrete for me.
About to right now.
Nice.
No, Chad, actually, that show you did, I can't remember his name right now, but that one that you did with the guy on autism, that was an amazing piece. There was great information in that. And him telling his story, dude. That's the kind of information we need to get out there for people. So, for anybody out there who doesn't know, man, go fucking follow his shit. That's where the real stuff's happening. So,
thank you so much for saying that. And yes, thank you to Daniel for coming on and doing that episode. A brilliant guy. He is very deeply involved in cannabis in California, like to the point I'm like, holy shit, we're talking right now. But yeah, he's a really cool dude. I can't express how like hard that is for somebody with autism to do, to put yourself in front of the camera and just go for it. So he's an amazing guy, and that whole month for me, I love covering the medical aspect of this plant. That's why I got into the plant. That's why I started educating people about the plant. I wanted it to become legal because I knew it can help people that were still under the reefer madness or that honestly had no idea. And it's expanded. It's great that legalization has happened. There's a lot more availability. There's a lot more information. There's more research, but the push towards medicinal patients has somewhat faded. It's sad. It's always kind of one of those follow the money things. There's more money to be made elsewhere in this industry now. And so that's the focus for a lot of people. And it's hard to, almost, as they say, get ratings doing that type of stuff, which is bullshit. But, we don't write the way things go. So I appreciate you saying that. It did mean a lot to me too, to get to do that and to meet these people. So I'm glad to hear that support. We all need to support the medical side of things. So sorry, I just talked over Prophet leaving. I'm sorry, buddy.
That's all
Bye.
right. He talks over everybody all the time. So, haha, fuck you, Prophet.
I actually thought that was Sam signing off. I'm sitting there reading it, and then the screen shrinks and changes to 5, and Sam's still sitting there, and I was like, what the fuck's going on here? And then you guys say Prophet left. I was like, aha, now I know what's going on.
Yeah, no, and and then on top of it, like the segment or the show you did on like the Jadam techniques and stuff.
Green Goblin
love that.
510.
Yeah, man, I
Yeah.
fucking love that shit, dude. Like, and I mean, don't do that stuff in your basement. I made that mistake once. Don't do that.
I asked him about that. I'm like, is that, I sent him, or I think even in the comments, I'm like, is that smoke that I see, coming off? Should I do this in a well ventilated area, not in my, because dude, I mix soil in my fucking bedroom, right? So
Right,
I'd probably
right.
I'd be making that in here and then pass out. But no, Green Goblin 510, he also has a YouTube channel. He's freaking awesome. Follow him, check his stuff out. He explains things in a way that it makes it easy for me to understand. And ironically enough, while we've been doing this show, I've been on his show as well. It was pre-recorded, but we just did a talk about his a Raspberry Pi sensor. Basically, we have like pulse sensors and we have these types of monitors. Well, dude engineered a way to do it for cheaper, give you more control, and has a lot more adaptability and ability to add on to it. So I got to pick his brain about that. He mentioned it on the show that we did together. I sent him an email and be like, hey dude, I want to know more about this. And he's like, well, why don't we hit record and talk about it?
That's awesome. And I can't wait to go back and watch that because I tried for friggin' ever. My kid's a coder. And for a long time, he started playing with a fucking Raspberry Pi. And he's like, well, what could help you? Fucking, of course, I just look in my tent and I go, well, let me tell you what could help me. And I never could, we needed to start buying parts and stuff. And then he had to go out looking for a job and be all like a productive adult and stuff. So we never got to do it. But hearing you say this now, it gets me very excited about that because, right, I had that Raspberry Pi fucking idea. And it's an easy way to do a lot of this, and that's awesome. So, fuck yeah, I want to hear about this.
I want to know if Chad was in both chats at the same time.
He was. Don't even fucking bullshit. You were cheating on us like a motherfucker.
No, I couldn't. I knew I couldn't flip it over. I have a hard time like talking, listening, and being in my own chat. Like I can't do that.
You're on 2 shows. He's like the magical YouTube man, like on 2 shows at the same fucking time. Like, who's got that record? I don't know.
He just like alt tabs through every chat he's in and catches up.
I should have remembered what shirt I wore that day and wore it today. That'd really mind fuck.
How you do the same outfit.
You'd have to like adjust the light and everything just to make sure it was the right time of day and shit. Just all right, hold on, we got to get the light to move.
I actually shameless plug. It's not for me, but I'm that excited new kid who got something new and wants to play show and tell with it. But I got a new shirt. Check out this. Okay, so y'all know like Twin Peaks, right? The Twin Peaks owl. That's we all know St. Bernard's observation booth. Hooked this up, dude. Made me the raddest fucking tie-dye I have ever owned. And
dude, he's a tie-dye guru, man. Some of the shit he does is fucking wild. It's
Stand up and show us.
I legitimately have never seen stuff like he does, and he does it just it's fucking
yeah.
But yeah, just like the Twin Peaks owl right
that's
there.
That's all how it's tied, dude. He knows how that fucking's gonna come out, man. That's unreal.
Yeah, that fucking tie-dye shit, man. That's such an awesome art. It really is.
Yeah,
I've seen one that he did. It looked like a legit fucking mountain landscape and shit, and like it was fucking badass, dude.
Yeah, I forget what artist it is, but the Starry Night picture, or God, it's Van Gogh. But yeah, he did that on a freaking shirt. I always try to reverse engineer art because that's how my brain works, and it just can't reverse engineer his stuff. It's I love his stuff.
I'm the same way, dude. I'm a builder, man. I work with my hands. I get that shit, right? So when I see fucking tie-dye and I see this, they just wrap shit up, rubber band shit, and then just start dunking. And I'm like, no, there's no way that can come out looking like anything. And then they pull it out and you're like, how do you spell fucking words? I don't get that. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
They
seen it.
unroll it. You're like, that's a spider?
Tie-dye is fucking voodoo to me. I mean, that ain't no fucking shit.
I have an artistic talent, so
But I
that's why I
mean,
do shit like drag brushes
yeah.
for a living instead of awesome stuff like tie-dye.
Boom.
We got this art prize here in Grand Rapids. It's, I don't know, kind of getting known or whatever, but we go down and check it out, and there's this dude this is a few years back at it, but this dude was like spinning. He had a palette. He was fucking spinning, or a canvas that he was spinning. And he had multiple fucking paintbrushes in each hand. So he had like 3-4 of them in each hand. I don't remember what. And he was just like hitting the fucking thing. And as that was spinning, he was just like randomly like, boop, 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 boop. It looked like he was just randomly doing it. He fucking stopped it. And it was like it was a portrait of somebody that was sitting there, and it looked fucking just like them. Like, blew my mind, like how he was fucking this whole thing spinning the whole time. You know what I mean? And he's like that shit. You can't. I don't know. Like, it's that amazes me about artists like that. Like, what the fuck, dude? That's just
Yeah, dude, that's like those fucking dudes in Vegas on like the side of the street with like a fucking can of spray paint and like a weird square of fucking cardboard. And next thing you know, you got like your family in Disneyland with fucking Vegas behind it. And you're like, how the fuck did that even happen?
The whole like
how did you do
galaxy.
that, dude? Yeah, dude, I love that shit.
I've totally watched YouTube videos about people that do that, usually for like little money in other countries, but they got their spray paint, the little thing, and they're just wipe it down with some old newspaper and shit, keep spraying, and then all of a sudden it's like this masterpiece. You're like, how the fuck did you just Bob Ross that? Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? It's the Bob Ross. It's like, that's not a mistake. It's a motherfucking happy tree. I get it, right? What the fuck?
Lots of practice on the trains.
Lots of practice with the trees.
Cannabis is probably a lot like that, though. I mean, you gotta, I don't know, nobody hits it out of the park their first run, right? Like, you gotta, or everybody thinks they do.
Because it's smokable, yeah.
After you get a little bit of time under your belt and a few other rounds, you kind of come to the realization that you didn't really hit it out of the park your first run. So,
yeah.
I made one accomplishment my first run, and I pulled a decent weight. That is all I will say about that run, and we'll call that good.
Yeah. My first run definitely wasn't my worst one, which is nice. I did have a little bit of beginner's luck, but yeah, you know that you learn those nuances over time.
Yeah, it's fun to be able to start looking at the plant. You know, once you've worked with it long enough, or even a strain, when you really get familiar with that one fucking plant that you've had, that this is like your 5th fucking time flower, and you're just like, oh, talk to me, girl. And you hit her with just nuances, man. I mean, that plant's just glowing by the end of it, you know. But it is. It's like the plant it tells you exactly what the fuck it wants. There's no guessing about it. You're just like, yep, I got you. No, that's my favorite. You know, when you really get to know that plant.
I'm gonna go, everybody. Smiley, thanks for coming, man. I'll let you off the hook with the animal question. Chad, you're not so lucky. What would you be today?
Today, I would be a water bear.
A water bear?
A tardigrade.
Tardigrade. All right.
Because they're little and they're cute and they've been to the moon. Hey, you asked on the spot, man.
He is always
and he's gone like that. Oh my
his
god!
mind for him.
He is always so good with that fucking answer, though. God damn it! So good.
right now he's on Google or trying to figure. First of all, he's trying to figure out how did he pronounce that again, and then he's Googling and figure out what the fuck it is. And now he's like, oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
When we're done, I'm Googling that shit. I'm just going to Google water bear. I'm going to look for the word I can't fucking pronounce. And I'm going to go, all right, what the fuck is this?
It's kind of like TARDIS, but no, tardigrade. Yeah. It's a cute little thing. You guys you'll be like, oh. And it has little like wave or flappy things. Maybe that's like what my hair represents right now. I don't know. It could be. But
I thought it was like bearded dragon or something like that you're trying to be, or Chad loses his shit. It's just like
goes up like a velociraptor or something. Yeah. All right.
Turn and run. I wouldn't want to mess with you.
More like using it like a whip or whatever. It's just like
Right. I was thinking more like a fucking iguana, like a tail whip. Just
yeah.
Yeah, that's scary shit when they get their tails moving. I remember.
You ever got cracked by one of them motherfuckers? Yeah, it's
I've
like
never been hit,
with a
but
whip.
I've seen them snap like chunks of a tree like that are in their cage when they flip out. And I'm just like, yeah,
no.
Yeah, that's.
Oh no, they're so fun, man. I love my iguana. My iguana was like a cat, dude. It had every bit of fucking personality like a cat. Hell, it was potty trained like a fucking cat. Like it didn't have a cage or anything. It just hung out in the fucking basement. You know, it fucking had it ran around the house just like all my other fucking animals. He was so cool. But yeah, if that motherfucker got pissed, boy, you didn't want to get hit with that tail. He'll fuck you up.
See, my iguana never got to be that big. He was, I think when he ran away, he was about, I don't know, like 2-3 feet long, probably something like that. Because I was same thing. I got him and I originally had him in a 20-gallon aquarium. I was like, I lived in an apartment building with a screen door going out to the balcony, right? Second floor. You're good. Just fucking let him roam around the apartment. He would disappear every once in a while. And then he'd usually show up on top of my stereo amp because it's a nice warm spot because the stereo was always on. And I remember like he disappeared for about a week one time, nothing new. And I went to do laundry and I even remember checking the laundry bin, like my dirty laundry, just to make sure because I hadn't seen him in a while. This is a conscious thing. I checked. And then I go and take my laundry out of the washer and I find a chunk of tail about that long. I was like, holy shit, what the fuck? So I just like in a panic start ripping clothes out and he was belly up in the bottom of the washer. Run upstairs, put him under his light. And I called the vet. Like ask them, is there anything anything you can do? They're like, well, you can bring them in, we'll charge you money and we might not be able to do anything. I'm like, well, I don't have much money, that's a terrible idea. And then so you call the people at the store I got them from and they're like, give them Pedialyte. And it turned out to be fine. And then but what ended up happening, I moved into a new place and because my landlord, who I figured out later, she used to roam around in my apartment when I wasn't around. Because if you think about it, before she was fine with the lizard until she found out I'd let him roam around the inside of the building. She always thought he was just inside the his tank at all times. And then, but no, she was grossed out to go in there. And plus that her son fucking stole my Xbox. That's another pretty good indicator that she was going through that shit.
Oh yeah, dude. I used to think it was funny as fuck, dude. My lizard, my mailman got fucking scared once, and like people would fucking have to check my door because he walked up to the front door while the sun would be beaming in. So I'd have like a cat right here, my giant iguana right there, and another cat fucking right next, bathing in the fucking sun. So when you walked up to my door, you just seen this fucking giant ass lizard and 2 cats fucking hanging out. And people get really fucking freaked out about that lizard. It's like, I think it's okay. And yeah, it used to be real funny when you put it on a leash and walk around the neighborhood. Fucking neighbors give you all kinds of weird looks.
Oh, I bet Richard Gere comes to mind, but no. Yeah, no. I've got to get going, guys. I gotta get going. Fluff.
Yeah,
Smiley. He's doing it. But thanks for having me on, and thanks for the conversation, guys. Hopefully, Caribou will be doing this again soon. Yeah, Smiley, take care. Fluff, hopefully I'll get to talk to you soon as well, buddy.
Absolutely. I hope so, man. Fucking cool. Anytime. Cool.
All right. And chat, thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Funny as always. But hey, I will catch you guys later. And again, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks for fucking being here.
Always a pleasure having you.
That's true.
Say with you,
Smiley, you too,
we'll
brother.
definitely want to
Always.
have you on more in the future too. You're always a pleasure to have
Oh
on.
no, I'm the awkward relative that stays way too long after the holidays. Like everybody else is gone. I'm just chilling on the couch.
Yeah,
still.
dude, we're the weird lingerers, so
Right.
it works. It's okay. Hey,
Yeah.
you know, half the good conversation happens after everybody leaves. I mean, fucking.
That's when I usually start talking more. But then it's also easier to get actually get into the conversation too. Like we say it a million times, like at the beginning of the show when everybody's so happy and chipper, it's just like holy fuck, like double dutch
Oh my
or something like
God,
that, trying to
yes.
dodge in there.
I just lit another joint. It's coming up on the 20 anyway. Fuck.
Better do it then, right?
Yeah.
Well, I
We
better
got a few more
Trying to
minutes.
cut it right before the 20 and shit.
I better fire up another dab here. Better ring the dab frog. I guess, like, man, that second one, I think damn near deneuralized me, like Men in Black style there. Like, I was just full. I was like,
Well, fuck you.
at least I was able to like plant seeds because I was just like, I couldn't, well, I guess I could sort of talk, but like it was
You
hard.
fucking whited out the whole goddamn room when you did it.
It was fun though. It tasted good.
I bet it did. What kind of dabby dabs was that you fucking hitting on?
So that one was the purple dank breath. That's it was good. Now the ones that I'm real or was am I liar? No, sorry, that was strawberry cream. So that's this stuff that we managed to find a really affordable source on that stuff a while back, and it was like, it was a joy to smoke. That's the stuff I was telling y'all. Smelled a lot. It's definitely got some kind of cheese in the strain. It smells like kind of like a fruity cheesecake is when you whiff on it. So it's just like, wow. And then that makes me think like I got some UK cheese seeds in the box somewhere. So like at some point in time that could be fun to play with. It's like it just never ends, does it? It's just
No,
like
it never does.
just like that's the last time I buy seeds.
Well, I'm like every time I fucking smell something disgusting, I'm like, I need that in my life. Like I don't want the good ones. I don't want them fucking nice ones. I've got a wonderful cross that's right now it's Granddaddy Purple Heavy. It's very Granddaddy Purple. It's wonderful. I fucking love it. But everything I've been fucking gearing towards is just pungent, gross. You know, the body odor, the onion, the garlic, I don't know what the fuck this shit is that fucking Dank Man Dan put in this fucking rosin, but it's called Dirty Kush Breath. I fucking opened this shit up and fucking it made me gag once. I was like, oh God, what the fuck is that smell? But you fucking dab it and it's so goddamn good. And it just makes me wonder what the fuck that had to smell like in the tent. You know what I mean? Like his house had to just smell like fucking ass.
But in a good
But
way.
obvious. I mean, if you were growing that in your house anyway, right? But in this weird good way, right? But God, it's like almost offensive. But then you take a dab of it and it's so good. Uh-huh.
Tell me about these ass terps, you say.
Right. Dude, I wouldn't even call it ass terps. I don't know what it is, but it's just like fuck seriously, it's fucking offensive.
Yeah, there's some of them that take
tastes so good.
to get used to. You almost got to smoke it and like your body overcome the fucking gross to where you then it's like like if you don't drink coffee, I don't drink coffee, but if you don't drink coffee, it tastes like shit, but everybody else loves it, right? Like it's like
I'm actually like my whole life I was a coffee hater and actually
able to see how purple that is. There's a little too not good lighting.
I mean, you can tell it's dark as hell.
Okay. Well, I've showed this off before on like Instagram. Apologize for lighting, but this stuff is dark as hell. You guys are talking about Granddaddy Purple a second ago, and I've got some seeds. The breeder calls it Grimace, and it's Granddaddy Purple crossed with Black Mexican Sativa or something like that. And it's just I'm thinking like the purple in that is something that like I've got to have, right? It's a very good indicator, or just a very, we all love color and stuff to our shit. Well, maybe not all of us, I certainly do, but the potency, I gotta find a way to jack that up and make it better than what this one is now. So that's kind of my next purpose-driven breeding thing, other than trying to make one up for fluff here. that purple is going to be in the tent at the same time is what I'm getting at.
Oh yeah.
There. A rambling ass way. Now I'm going to shut up and actually do a dab so I can fuck up my sentences even more than I just was.
No, you kid, bro. That's funny shit. Yeah, man.
Oh, man. Yeah, actually, fucking right. I needed to go back and like catch up on the newest wormhole, man. So I fucking always love catching up on them. Like I said, I never catch that shit live. I never get to see you guys fucking live, but I never thought about fucking right. I wake up about the fucking tail end of it. Like I should fucking try to think about fucking opening that up. But you know, usually I'm groggily walking down here to my fucking grow to get things started. And I don't even fucking, you know, my eyes aren't even open yet. So
No, I understand, man. It's impossible to catch everything all. You know what I mean?
it's so hard, man. Yeah, you guys put out so much fucking content, and you know, there's so many other fucking great, you know, content creators, and you know, and you're just like, I fucking try to support everybody and have to, yeah, but I gotta have a life too.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. No, I totally get that, but I love hanging out in them, like in the chats and shit. It's a fucking riot.
Fuck yeah, dude, it's great, man. This fucking community is amazing. You know, everybody out there is fucking awesome. You know, it's fucking wit and humor everywhere, and just genuine good people. So, you know, and then they follow everybody around, and so you know the jokes are good everywhere.
Well, that's the kind of the funny thing is when you like, we remember when we started up and like we were watching all these shows on YouTube, and like we'd hang out to the chat, and you see like all the crews like Chad Westport, Smiley, or the Painted Lady, the crew from the Michigan Bros show and stuff. Dave's not here, a guy who's always in all those chats. It's like you're sitting there seeing them talking about Dave and his dick jokes and shit like that. Then before long, like Dave's hanging out over here fucking cracking dick jokes and stuff like that. You're just like, wow, like this is fucking cool. Like everybody's so accepting. Like, you know, like we didn't expect that necessarily. Like how like everyone from the Michigan Bro Show is just like, yeah, fuck these guys over here, right? And like start fucking waving the flag kind of thing a little bit first. It was like, holy fuck, and then it's just like, yeah. I mean, it's like just so kind. And then the other is like guys like you, Smiley, who like didn't really have any contact with, and it's just like, you know, but like we're mutual fans of each other's show though, right? You see each other every once in a while. It's like, hey man, you want to like come hang out with us? It's like you actually think you might get rejected on something like that, but then you find out it's not only a yes, it's like I'm actually like looking forward to doing this in a lot of cases, and just like, oh wow, like that then it's like,
dude, I've always had a riot hanging out with Canadians, like even on vacation and shit. It's like the people you know what I'm talking about. You're on a cruise ship or something. You always find the fucking whatever people you hang out with and party like on there. Shit,
anybody from not in the States, right?
Yeah, dude, the Canadians have always been the coolest fucking people to hang out with, get drunk with and shit and whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's like South Africa.
A lot of fun to go out and have a riot with like that. So I was thinking one of the foremen I work with, he's a great shit. Is one of those people you can't not have fun when he's around. And just I'm just here hoping to figure out Fluffy's tricks there. He's got this special trick.
Well, I don't have any special tricks, bro. I do like this.
You were specifying earlier how it was going to be different in your soil, but what I'm just be curious and see, could you name one specific thing that you think would make it special or different about your soil,
rather than like something you might do,
or anybody? Yeah.
Just anybody. I mean, obviously, all my worm castings are fed through, you know, the waste through our home. So, and we don't compensate our diet to feed our fucking worms, to feed our plants. You know what I mean? They get my fucking leftovers, and that's all there is to it. Now I do have my castings actually kind of split. I have a big urban worm bag, one of those big motherfuckers, so I can get a lot of castings processed when I need it. And that's for more of my vegetative, like soil building and cycling and tea making. And then I have a smaller one that, it gets a lot of the bananas and the high potassium stuff for my, flowering nutrients. That casting actually gets a little heavier on my like my higher mineral content too. So like those castings, since they get added late in the game, for flower and everything, I kind of add those late minerals really for the next cycle. They're not for that cycle, you know what I mean? If they need a little bit of it, it is, but it's really because it's, kind of buffered the depleted part of it, and then, I charge like my soil when I get ready to flip with a lot of like langbonite. I like to add a decent amount of sulfur to my soil. I feel like, and maybe I've heard there is some fact to it. I'm not 100% certain, but there's a lot. I feel like I get a lot of terps, with the high sulfur content in the soil and things like that. I've noticed since I've added that to it, I see more expression in terps and in specific terps.
You said
What's that?
Is it a bed? You said
I have 2 50-gallon like pots that are like no-till pots, and then I have 2x4 grassroots bed,
so, okay.
and I run that kind of we'll call it low-till style. I fuck with it. I'll fucking move shit up.
So you're doing like multiple plants in the same pot, so you have like a shared root zone kind of an idea, right? Like,
yeah, sometimes when I feel like having fun, or if I feel like just blowing out with a heavy yield, I'll put that one pot right in the middle of the fucking tent, run one plant, veg out the whole thing, and just get an Instagram monster. And a good yield of a plant I love. And then, I'll push it back in the corner of that tent, and I'll cycle autos through it while I'm kind of rebuilding refurbishing my soil. I'll run autos through it back there. And then, while I'm running the autos, I'm kind of heavily like re-amending and stuff to get it in for the next cycle of photos that will take a little more energy out of that pot.
So what do you mean
and
by
then,
re-amending?
Well, just dry amendments on the top, throwing some new compost down. You get your chop and drop cycle, starting new cover crops, stuff. All that stuff, kind of revigorating the whole soil, system.
And I'm not trying to put you on the spot either, man. I'm just legitimately curious. Like, I don't know. Like,
No, it's great because sometimes I have a hard time explaining it to people. So I love being put on the spot so I can explain it, because I don't feel like I do sometimes, like, to explain it well. So
you said you tailor your worm castings 2 ways, sort of a flower blend and a veg blend. But when you go into that flower blend to use that, how heavily are you putting that into the top dress? Like, how much are you putting down? Like, do you kind of measure, or do you do like about a 1/2 inch covering or an inch covering, or?
A lot of times my castings, if I'm not building a soil, my castings go to just teas. Also, I don't care, like you said earlier, like you'll use the stocking. I use a big thick paint strainer. I don't mind if a lot of that material gets in my tea, because it's just going to get poured right back on my beds. I'm okay with that extra organic matter in there. I like to have worms in my pots, all my pots. So, I don't mind putting that extra organic matter on, so they have something to fucking eat anyway.
Right.
So I don't mind, a big micron bag, as long as it doesn't plug up my damn water can when I'm pouring it out. I've even made teas where I just free floated everything in there and just poured it all right back on my soil. And that ended up being a little bit hot. I wouldn't really suggest that.
No.
Because yeah, no, it came out real hot on the next watering. Actually, the next watering, fucking, it was rough.
You ever put anything like or use like kelp meal and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever throw that in your worm bin to let your worms chew that up and get that
No.
on there first?
No, I don't. I just all that just gets amended right in my soil, and I will in say like the first two weeks or so, I will throw kelp meal in my teas to brew it in my teas though to get that to get all that in there. So
you do an actively aerated tea?
yes. Yeah, I want to do one of those fucking weird bubbler ones, that just kind of like fucking chunk out a big old thing of water. I forget, like a bioreactor type
I'll
one.
tell you, honestly, when I was researching it, the best way to get dissolved oxygen is through a vortex. So those vortex style are the best ones to have. Now, there's two ways to do it though. You can put like the pump, just pumping it back up to the top and then into the funnel. But there's another way called the airlift, and the airlift is actually like the most efficient way to make use of an air pump to put the dissolved oxygen in. Because not only is the air pushing the water up to the top, it's also got that vortex portion of it to aerate it as well. So I don't know. I mean, that's just
Yeah, no, an airlift is actually what they use to like help aerate sewers and shit and take it from low places to high places. They use an airlift. It's the same. Yeah, it's the same process, and they actually do that to help aerate, some of that stuff on the way, so it doesn't get stagnant inside. So it's actually, really neat. And yeah, I'm familiar with those.
But people make fun of like vortex and water and stuff or whatever, saying, I get it. People make a bunch of claims about structured water or whatnot, but that's one legitimate thing that we know about it. Like it fucking puts a high level of dissolved oxygen in the water. Like it's fucking good.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, and yeah, there's more movement. There's more, there's more keeping your solution in solution. There's a lot of benefits to it. So,
Yeah. I did I'm not shooting anything down. I'm just saying, like, the reason I moved away from that is it seemed a lot easier to just do that rinse or whatever and put it in. Like, I don't know. I mean, I know
rather than the brew.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I still put it on the top of the soil though too. Like every transplant, I'm doing a re-amend. I actually send in a soil sample and get a recommendation to re-amend. And I do the recommendation and then I cover it with, like half-inch of worm castings or vermicompost. But I'm lucky I have a local source for it. So it's, I can just purchase it from cat that makes it professionally right down the road. They actually get it, they actually get it looked at under a microscope, all that. So it's biocomplete or whatever we would call that. And, so yeah, I know it's got the wide range of diversity that I need, but dude, the plants love that. Like, I don't know, like just putting that on, and then in flower, when I flip into flower, I do another test. So I do whatever recommendations are there, and then another top dressing or worm casting, and that's why I was just wondering if you were actually applying it to the soil every time, or if it was teas or whatever.
Yeah, no, I like to kind of do both. I mean, I don't as much as, I mean, how much worm castings you can make unless you have a fucking huge bin and everything. Right. Here, but you want to fucking say something, buddy? Before you fucking rock out?
All right. Just thanks everyone for joining us. Smiley, you're an awesome guest. I've got to start thinking about getting ready for bed for the night, but I don't want to put a stop to this conversation. This is awesome stuff. This is so keep at it, guys.
Now, guys.
Have fun. I got to go back, and we'll listen into this as I get ready for work in the morning to find out how it ends, kind of thing. Thanks for hanging out, man. We definitely want to have you back. Same to Chad, if you're listening, we want to have you back again, and I'm sure we'll have you guys back many a time. everyone in chat, as always, we love you guys. You guys are awesome. And see y'all Friday night. So
Great night, brother. Yeah, I mean, you know how it is when you're trying to make castings and stuff. Unless you have big fucking areas, castings don't go very fucking far. So, you having source, I just mean like, when you use them regularly, it's hard to keep up, if you're just kind of doing that, at least in my experience. Or maybe I just like my worm bin fuller than fuller than it needs to be. Because sometimes
it's hard to keep up. You're right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I mean.
So,
like, it depends on how heavily you apply them, or if you're, like you're watering it in, so you're probably putting the material back into the bin again and whatever.
yeah, no, usually, yeah, that's, I like to, once I water in, I like to take that, I'll let it dry out a little bit more. And then I'll throw it, once it's dried up a little bit, back to, a little more of the normal like consistency of everything that made that tea. Then I'll throw it back in as a top dress afterwards and just water that back down. So that's how I'll get the rest of what's in that out of it, trying to get all of my nutrients. Because, I know a lot of people, they'll make teas and just throw that fucking compost right out. Like, I wouldn't fucking use it for anything. And it's like, dude, that's like, you barely even scratch the surface of what that compost will do for you,
Yeah. No, I mean, there's definitely different ways, man. It's all, that's curious thing though. Like, like, is there a difference of like just applying it in a tea form or, actually putting the organic matter down? Like, I think in some cases there's, I don't know, I guess in speaking of trying to, like, outside of mixing anything with it, just the castings themselves, I think a majority of, like, say your nitrogen source is still going to be tied up in that organic matter, like a lot of your nutrients. So, like, in that aspect of it, I mean, you may wash some biology away and then pour that in there, or you might be adding fish aminos or kelp, liquid kelp meal or powdered kelp or whatever, like, there's different ways to add that. I'm not against it. I'm just saying, like, it's, people talk about teas like they're the same thing, like, oh, I got a bloom tea. Well, what does that really mean? It's like, like, what's all, and so some of that stuff, it kind of, it's, I don't know, like, just
yeah, and I mean, my bloom tea, what am I doing? I mean, right. So I feed it a high potassium diet. So it's, there you go. I use the castings as my base for like my high potassium. I will, when I brew that tea, I will actually, I'll make like a legit banana tea. I'll get an old peels, a couple peels, I'll chop them up for, it's good calcium, good fucking potassium, all that good stuff. But, nice, good, rotten, old frozen ones. And then I get them out, thaw them, and they're all gross and squishy. And I'll chop them motherfuckers up and I'll boil them, not boil them, but like simmer them for, an hour or so, get it all gross to where they start falling apart in the water. And then I'll wait till that comes down to just a little bit above room temperature. So it's, yep. Oh, Al, dude, fucking worm bins are actually pretty fun.
You didn't have to
But
stop.
yeah.
I was listening. I just had to grab some.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I fucking thought you had to run, man.
No,
but yeah,
no,
so I'll boil that up till it, until it starts falling apart. And then when it's a little bit warm, then I will actually add it to then the compost tea that I'm brewing. That's aerating. That's been aerating for like 24 hours. So, right, I got my good fucking foam head on there. You can tell it's active. Shit's moving around. And then I'll actually dump that, little bit warm, fucking extra, high potassium, calcium banana tea in there. And then I'll let that bubble for a few more hours. And that's just, that's what I consider a flowering tea. I'm just trying to steer a little more high available nutrients for what we consider the flowering, nutrients for the plant. So And yeah, like I have a veg tea going now, and right, I threw a little bit of like 777 biofish in. You know, that stuff seems to actually make a interesting available tea. You know, you can like tell that shit works. Like there's definitely some life and some breakdown and some nutrients that happens very available when you make a tea with that. But man, it'll bring some fungus gnats like you wouldn't believe.
Really?
Fucking fungus gnats love that shit. Yeah. Yeah, I saw once fucking like Tanazi posted. He had made it with it. I was like, well, fuck, I got some biofish. I'm gonna start trying that. See if I like it, you know, because I like to experiment with my teas. So I did it, and yeah, sure as shit, man, that fucking fungus gnat's like a motherfucker. I don't know what it is. They love that shit.
Huh. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, fucking, they were all up in my phone, man. They love that shit. So I had to make sure to keep the lid on it. But, yeah, so, but that's how I tailor it. And yeah, I mean, it might be some bro science. You know, I'm not fucking inspecting this. I don't have any fucking numbers on this stuff, but I just see what it does.
So, like, honestly, man, have you ever thought of testing the soil? Like
Yeah, I have. I just don't really know where to take it or who or whether I have the time and whether I want the repercussions of what's going to happen when they tell me how fucked up my shit is.
Well, why wouldn't you want to know? You know what I'm saying? Like, why wouldn't you want to know?
I'm one of them idiots who like to do shit the hard way. I like to figure it out. You know what I mean? So when my plant's fucking sick, I do a lot of fucking self-diagnosis. I'm terrible about it. I am. So I'll fucking do a little foliars here. I'll do some fucking tea. I'll make up special teas of what I think's fucked up, and I just try to bring it back. And I find that part fun. I never bring, a fucked up plant in the flower. It's going to be rocking. And if I have any question about something fucked up, I will make soil and something that I know will be nutritious enough for one run and get it through that flowering stage. I'll plop that bitch in there, let it go, and then I will start refiguring out the soil. I'll look at it. I'll figure out what I don't like about it. I'll see what deficiencies I had that I was trying to fix. And then I'll go through that old soil that I had and I'll fucking start re-amending it. And then I'll grow a plant in that motherfucker and see how it acts. And then and that's how I've kind of come up with my soil recipe. So, I keep re-amending and I look at it and I've kind of, at this point, I just have my routine down, when I flip over my pots and I reset my soil, my small pots, when I'm doing like a big run with a bunch of small pots, it's just basically a super soil. I have bins of soil cooking behind me, that are basically just ready for water only, to get through a cycle. If I can take my 2-gallon pots, plant in with this soil. And if I've got a 2-foot plant, it'll get that through flower, if I flip it right at that transplant. So, and it gets it through wonderfully, and the teas and stuff I make just add to it. I've done it water only and it works great. I don't have to do anything. The teas just help me get my weight, my flavor, out of my expression out of my plant. So.
Yeah. No, I just was curious because, like, I don't know, after a while, man, it's like kind of like, especially doing a routine, it almost seems to, at least my experience was, but I had a smaller pot. I don't have as big a pot as you either, but it was,
yeah, I like it.
So that was starting to get out of balance. But then tracking it down after I had to send in a water sample and sending in soil samples, tracking down that the well water I was using was like, I think it had just like 375 parts per million or something. But the balance of bicarbonates and magnesium in there, constantly kind of every watering going in was like tying up nutrients and fucking up the balance of magnesium to potassium in the soil. So I was always kind of battling that back and forth. And I know I do understand what you're saying is, yeah, you can address some of these things foliarly and you can kind of dance around it. And I was doing that before I was testing. And then it's at a certain point, I was just like, this is kind of stupid. I'm gonna have to do something. But I would suggest it, man. Just the thought of it, because for example, Soil Doctor charges $90. Half of that goes to, or I think $50 of it even goes to Logan Labs there in Ohio. So I don't know exactly where you're at, but for $90, I mean, what do you value like an ounce of weed? You know what I mean? Like if
Right.
you got an extra 2 ounces based off some of that information, like I don't know, like it just has kind of been eye opening. That's why I'm
no, it's totally fucking worth it. I totally get that. Like you said, I think I remember on your show when you were talking about how your soil got so far out of balance just because of your water, right? You had that high magnesium, that high, and you don't even think about that shit adding up in your soil, after every watering, and you're also adding that with your fucking fertilizers, and now you have this out of balance, so it's not eating this, and shit gets all fucking cattywampus. And I would absolutely, I would love to. And I think one of the things that has actually saved me on that is the fact that I use RO water. So every input that goes into mine is like, basically I put it in there. So, there's nothing odd that's coming, like that I wouldn't foresee through something like the water, unless my RO filter goes out. You know what I mean? And fuck, if that happens, I will know instantly, because there's a reason I use RO water. It's not good around here. It'll fucking smoke a plant in a hurry. So,
I know,
I
only bring that. It's a good thing to bring up, I guess, because there's the whole like idea of, oh, I got a living soil, so I don't need to worry about my water, and that's
wrong.
Yeah, like I don't know. That's I don't know.
Yeah,
you always have to worry about your water. Like I don't know.
I think I always kind of used to give Spartan a little bit of shit, because he used to say like he even pHs, even though he's organic, and I give him a little shit about it, like, but technically so do I. I use fucking RO water. I don't have to worry about it. My shit is where it is. So, even though I give him a little shit, I do it out of fucking just kind of screwing with him. But I totally get it. You even with organic, you got to watch what the fuck you're putting in there, because it will throw your shit out of balance. Yeah. Mine's super high in fucking calcium bicarbonate. Yeah, great, all that calcium, woohoo. Yeah, but how quick is that gonna fucking make it calcium toxic and just fucking lock up that root system, because it's just gonna fucking plug them up.
Right.
So,
well, and even like the different soil mixes that I have going on right now, there's differences I've found through that, where like certain rounds of the soil or whatever mix that was, basically, because like when I say a mix, it basically there's 16 number 15 pots, smart pots, which is like 2 cubic feet each, so it's a little bit more than a yard basically, but it was, I don't know, it was the bale of peat and the fucking mix that I did or whatever, that's the way it came out. But I filled those, but the different rounds I did different mixes to that too, so I have a few different rounds. That one of them, like almost every time I gotta be adding fucking bone meal and like, rock phosphate to it. Those are always on there. There's another round that every time has like copper and manganese, and fucking nitrogen, and it's like, nitrogen and NP and K, yeah, we always think in those terms, but like, like the fucking the copper and manganese.
Yeah, your fucking zinc. Yeah. Let's think about zinc for a minute, because how many times have you fucking seen a zinc deficiency and you're just like, oh, okay. Like a lot of people just let the motherfucker go. They're just like, maybe it's new growth or something. You get that little bit of light in there from that. Anyway, but yeah, it's right. Yeah, I've been big about. I love the micronutrient. Micros, like small shit, the stuff that they use a little bit of, and I think people do not look far enough into, those nutrients and for what they do to for that plant, you know.
Yeah, no
And
doubt.
you know, I feel like that's part of the reason, you know, when we kind of make that, you know, the salts guys don't do quite as good a job as, you know, the organic guys. Well, you know, we kind of naturally have more of those minerals and stuff. They have to buy those minerals. That's extra expense. And that stuff they can actually grow without, you know. It's not going to be as good, but right, they can grow without it. And I think that's, you know, yeah, if I throw every fucking bottle at it, I can make it every bit as good as my organic because I'm giving it all the same shit, just in a different way. You know, you can fucking turbocharge it that way. I mean, it really is. But there's something to be said for letting that fucking plant do what that plant needs to do when it wants to fucking do it. So, you know, I don't know when that plant wants fucking copper. So I can't fucking reliably give it to it at the right time. But if I know I have enough in the fucking soil, it'll be okay. You know, that's the mindset I have on that.
I was just gonna say, like, the guys I've seen that are really knocked out of the park with like hydro or whatever, it's usually they're not doing a whole lot of complicated shit. Like, it's usually, you know what I mean? I don't know. I just, when you get to talking to them, it's usually a pretty basic fucking, oh, I just run this and flour, I do this, and it's pretty simple. So, like, I don't know.
I don't know. Hell, I think all us organic guys bitch about the fucking hydro guys just because we can't do it right. I think that's our problem.
Well, I don't understand why there's any competition there. I think you can fuck it up just as easy either way. Like, so.
Yeah, that ain't. Like, well, I honestly, I think you can fuck it up easier in hydro. I mean, I really do think it's a lot easier to fuck up that way. Because I can put it in a fucking bag of soil and throw it in front of a window and just like leave it, and it'll be fine for a while. If I throw it in a fucking 5-gallon bucket full of solution in front of a window, shit's gonna get cattywampus in a fucking hurry.
Oh yeah, I mean your light source matters. I mean, like, it's a balance, man.
Right.
You're gonna balance the nutrient mix to the transpiration rate, to the light source, to the.
I don't hate on any of them. Hell, I really am actually super interested in the guys who are doing like the fucking, you want to call it the synganic or whatever, you know, when they're buffering their organic grows with salts, you know, they're doing like a real nice, you know, mixture of both of them, and the fucking results are amazing. So, you know, that's got my interest. I'm totally cool with it. Yeah, like hell, I just like growing shit. It doesn't matter. It's all fucking fun, you know. And when you do it right, it doesn't matter. It all comes out fucking amazing. So.
Yeah, no doubt. I don't know. I don't think there's any distinction between how you get there, I guess, but there is an end goal, and I've seen guys do it on any system, and the guys that know how to do it seem to be able to do it with any system. So I don't know what that means, but I think it made sense. They do, man. There's just guys that fucking know how to do it.
Oh yeah, dude. They're fucking gurus who, it doesn't matter. They'll walk in a room and fucking turn that motherfucker on 11, and you're just like, this would have took me fucking months to figure out. They just got it in a fucking hurry. You know, I'm definitely.
They don't tell you about it either. They just fucking do it.
Right.
I'm like, I don't know.
That's that old school mentality. Don't worry about what I'm doing. You ain't gonna take my place.
Well, I mean, there's something to be said about experience, you know, like, and I'm not saying I have the most or anything, but it's like, there's a lot of experts with little experience, you know. Like,
yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean, fuck, let's be honest. I mean, the reason I went organic was because it was the way I could comfortably do it, because I love to garden. Soil kind of was like, cool. I get soil. I get how the fertilizer works. Like, I get the fucking microbe stuff. Like, and I always grew outside. You know, that was my jam. So I really didn't have success when I started indoor gardening until I was like, right, I'm bringing the outdoors indoors. Like, this is where I am fucking up. Like, I just want my patch of land that I work on. And that's when I started thinking of it that way, and that's what I actually started doing, right? I have a 2x4 patch of land that I take care of. And that's when I started having my real success, because that's where my comfort zone was. It made sense to me. I got a hydro bucket going right now. It's my clone bucket. Let's be honest. That's a fucking hydro bucket. I got one of those going, and I could take a run from start to finish, from a clone to fucking finish in that bucket if I wanted. But it's a small bucket. That'd be kind of stupid. But, I can do it. And that one's going to give me more trouble than my fucking little patch of land is. But I'm going to get through it, and it's going to be fucking good stuff, Yeah, there's something to be said. I mean, you should be able to fucking just handle a plant. When that motherfucker, when it gets put in front of you, you look at your situation, you should be able to handle it, I mean, for the most part, we all know what we're doing around the garden. We know what it needs, and you just have to use a little common sense to get you there.
No doubt. I mean, it works.
Yeah.
There's maintenance shit too. Like, I don't know, just the maintenance. I maintenance foliar, just whatever. Things are rocking and rolling still, but I still spray aloe, coconut. And, like,
why not? Why wouldn't you?
So.
Yeah. Was that you guys who were talking about the fucking leaf foliar, like making it out of the like juiced leaves and then foliaring with that? Was that you guys talking about that? Because I really want to fuck with that.
Yeah, man, they glow. I don't know. I haven't really done it because, to be honest, it is quite time consuming to sit there. It added an extra hour to my process, I guess you'd call it. Sitting there fucking juicing. I mean, because you need a decent amount of leaves, like to whatever. But yeah,
right, and that's worm food and top dressing for the most part from a garden. You know what I mean? So that's usually pretty valuable food for me. So to use that much for a foliar is, but and I kind of use the aloe too. I love an aloe foliar. That's they and it seems like the plants love an aloe foliar.
So. They always shine with it, man. So it's like, it's like giving your dog a treat every night. Like, they're gonna be happy when they see, what I mean? Like, they get used to it. They're like waiting for it and shit.
Yeah, dude, it's almost like you get up in there and they're like wagging their tail, like waiting for it. Like, oh, what's it gonna happen? It's gonna happen.
Get consistent with it. It's like they almost are anticipating it. But there is something to be said by that, because there are even like I've heard guys, and even in like hydro or whatever, but like the Floraflex style systems with the drips or whatever, where they're hitting them multiple times a day. Like, yeah, I mean, there's something to be said about how that thing's using water, and how much it's drying out, how quick. I mean, them guys are thinking in them terms too. It's not like just, I don't know.
Oh man, guys in that situation are thinking about it way harder than I am. I'm not, I'm barely thinking shit compared to them guys. Those guys are fucking thinking a lot of things. They got overhead to worry about. My garden's a toy, and it's, I am constantly striving, to make the best medicine I can for myself. But let's be honest, this is a toy for me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm playing all the time. Like, it's my hobby. It's a good for you hobby. So, it's making my medicine. And I think there's something to that also, to make your own. There's obviously something to that. When you can heal yourself, there's something to that. Yeah, you can tell it's getting late in the night, because that is not where I was going with that. But
yeah, man, I can let you go. I was just joking. I could cut out anytime.
No, dude, I could fucking sit here and ramble about this shit all night, dude. Like, I love talking about this, right? And I love talking about this with people smarter than me, because, right, I want you to fucking correct my bullshit. Like, yeah, I'm spouting out what I know and what I do, and I give this information to people. So, when I'm off base, I want to know these things. So I like when people question me, and if I'm ever fucking off, I want somebody to tell me. You know what I mean? because these are my experiences. You know, I can only tell you what I've done. You know?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I can't tell you. It's just one of them things. If you think something's off, like I think it's worth it. Like, to be honest, like
Yeah, no, I
it's what
totally think you're right.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess I have a different perspective towards it, but even so, I mean, like I said, for $90, like, what do you get? You know what I mean? Is that a price of an ounce? I mean, was it like half ounce, or you know what I'm saying? Like at some point, like you can go, hey, if I
Right.
got an extra 2 ounces off this harvest, that pretty much more than paid for itself. Or
Yeah.
and who knows?
And time and money too. I mean, you know, if I'm throwing needless, you know, money at it, or if I'm throwing needless time at it because now I'm babying this plant because I've got it so fucked up because I don't know where my soil's at. I totally get it. And yeah, I will. You know, eventually I'm going to get to the point where I do my testing, and I'll do everything I can. And I'll do everything I can, you know, basically to then get myself on a system so I can stop testing, but I'll be like, you know, there'll never be a point when you can stop, but there'll be a point when, you know, where I can see where I could take breaks from it, where I can get, you know, stable long enough to where, and then all of a sudden I'll be like, all right, it's time to test because I know shit's off. So, yeah, and it's in my soon to be future, for sure. Right now it's playing and having fun, you know, seeing if I can be smarter than Mother Nature, I guess.
See, I mean, to be honest, dude, it still comes down to keeping it the moisture in the water correct, and a lot of that has to do with having correct environment, correct light.
And you know, I do believe that a lot of my success in my garden is my life in my garden. I have worms in every pot. I got a 2-gallon pot that motherfucker's got worms in it. It's got bugs in it. It's got, you know, it's got my detrivores in it. It's eating, you know, I chop and drop on a fucking 2-gallon pot. So those detrivores stay around and stay in that pot so that they're going through and aerating that soil, dropping those nutrients and all that, the vital stuff that, you know, the life brings to the soil.
Do you have the pill bugs?
I've collected them. They're in one of my, I've never looked in my 50-gallon pots. I'm sure they've worked over there because I did add them to my 2x4 bed. Yeah, oh, dude, those motherfuckers mouse and shit up. Dude, they do work.
They'll get on your plant, dude. You gotta feed them. Like you almost have
yeah,
to
they will.
Or chop and drop or like prune your leaves and put them down there, because otherwise, them fuckers. I found them up in the plant, dude, and they'll like eat the edges of the leaves and shit. Like
absolutely, dude. They don't fuck around. When they're hungry, they are gonna eat, and they eat a lot.
So I've been trying to prune and like actually use that on the soil, like a mulch almost layer.
Yeah.
Because of that, I'm trying to keep them off the plant. Like here, fuck, feed them. You know, like shit.
Yeah. That's actually funny you said that, because that is why they're only in hopefully one bed. Because I didn't have enough to drop on there at the time. I didn't have enough to really keep them happy and fed for the population I had, and they were starting to crawl up on the plant, taking out all of my lowers. They actually fucking preferred my super smalls. Yeah. And so that's you know, when I set up this other one, I actually take a lot that's supposed to be dropped on other shit and make sure it goes in there just to keep them little bastards at bay.
Yeah. No, they do suck. They get everywhere. Get them in there.
But you know, and I feel like that's probably my definite biggest key to success is all the life. Because I mean, if lights weren't out, I mean, I could fucking, you know, hop on a camera and show you. You couldn't look at a square fucking centimeter of that soil without seeing something moving around.
Oh, no doubt. That's cool.
Yeah, it's awesome to watch. But right now, I need to get the cover crop built back up. It needs to thicken out. So, all my life stays the fuck back in my soil. Because right now, I just got done flowering. It's actually right in the middle of reset. So, I threw some new compost on top of it. I threw a little bit of some amendments on top. I threw a little barley on there. I find a lot with that. I don't know what it is. The fungal life seems to like that fucking barley a lot. The worms like it a lot too. They get down to fucking business on that fucking powdered up barley. So, I just kind of re-amended everything, and now I just need my cover crop to kind of bloom back up to keep everything back down in the soil, because right now it's all kind of at the top, working on all the shit I just put in there. So
yeah, it's hard to replant and get stuff sprouted when you're chopping and dropping too.
it is, especially if you had a really nice cover crop and you chop and drop that motherfucker and you just snuffed out your fucking crop. It's a pain in the ass to fucking get, because you get a nice fucking mulch layer, through that. Sometimes it can be real hard to get that started again.
No, like I said too, mine are number 15. So like, I'm just picturing, I think it's like an 18-inch diameter or whatever the pot is. It's a fabric pot, but like, I kind of gave up on trying to do cover crop, so to speak, just because I don't know, it got to be more of a pain in the ass, and by the end of it, I'm just mulching anyway. So like, that's why I just got to where I'm just putting the leaves down there and then pile up. You know what I mean? And then,
yeah, you really got to think whether the nitrogen sequestering with what you get to grow is worth the annoyance that it can cause if it doesn't, come in properly, or if the motherfucker takes over and is a complete pain in the ass, or have you ever had that one happen where you just fucking, your cover crop like exploded too hard, and when you chop it, it almost fucking toxifies your plant?
no, but like, okay, so I know nitrogen sequestering is what a lot of people say, but to me, honestly, one of the biggest benefits that I see of having a cover crop is just having a diversity of plant roots in the soil working, and a diversity of photosynthetic, whatever, the exudates are different for different plants. You know what I'm saying? So you can encourage a wider diversity of microbiome in the soil by having a wider range of plants, and that's something that I believe is like proven fact. Like I've heard people talk about 4 specific different families of plants that are known to work together could actually make a synergistic,
Like a synergistic web
in the soil that you wouldn't get with just one plant in a monocrop or whatever. So
yeah. Was it Chad who had on was her name Tamara Tam, the one who was talking about like the stinging nettles under the plants, and how it increased all the extra trichome production on the plant, right? And I there's a ton to that, I think, when it comes to what we plant with our cannabis and what it's going to do for it. Yeah, that's the biggest reason for my cover crop. I mean, it's to make my detrivores happy, and it's to make, like you said, that diversified biome and root mass down in there, and that also helps break up the soil. It helps aerate the top layer of the soil. And there's so many benefits that I think, to it, that I that's why I use it. The cover crops anyway, and a diversity of them too.
yeah.
Actually, you know what? My headphone just gave me the "Hey, we dying" warning.
Yeah.
So I think, unfortunately, we have to cut this off, and I can't sit here and talk to you all evening.
You're fine,
It's
man.
really good, but I wanted to do that.
We can do it again, man. That's cool.
Right on, man. Yeah, well, you definitely have to come back for sure, and because I love talking to you.
Yeah, it's been fun, bro. Cheers. That. Yeah.
Absolutely. And hey, man, you want to do any shout outs for like next time you're on or anything like that?
Actually, I gotta schedule my next organic takeover, but yeah, I mean, there's a list of them. I actually do a garden tour. I have a YouTube channel that under Smiley's Garden, so I do a weekly garden tour. I'm on, I don't know, like I think it was season 2, week 5, so it was at 57 weeks of it so far. So if you're ever curious of what I take care of every day, it's kind of there. So
Yeah, like I said, I try to keep along. I'm kind of like I'm a lurker, you know. I'm always that guy who just kind of sits around. This is the only time I ever talk to people, so yeah, I'm always there, fucking hanging out with you. You just don't know it. It's creepy, isn't it?
no, it's fine, man. I get it. I'm starting to get it, I guess. I don't really get it. It's mind blowing, man. Like fucking, I got friends in so many different countries and shit. Like it's fucking mind blowing. So,
Right? It's crazy.
it's cool. It's a cool community, and I'm blessed to be part of it for sure. So,
Fucking A right, man. We're fucking blessed to have you. So,
cheers to that, bro. Have a good one.
all right, my man. I hope we can talk soon. Fucking chat. Love y'all. Thanks for fucking hanging out. We'll talk to you fucking soon.